Hey, welcome to 2 Cents episode 93. It is May 1st, 2017, and this is the live undoctored news show we do here at Dollar Reviews. Cover tech, TV, movies, streaming, VR, and sometimes video games. I'm Brian Gillis. You can follow us along at dollarviews.net, Dollar Views on Twitter, Facebook, and all other kinds of great things. We're on Instagram, WordPress, Tumblr. If you want to listen to us, if you don't want to go to our website directly, we're on Google Play Music, iTunes, Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, SoundCloud. You can stay up to date on Twitter. We always post when our episodes go live, and I'm trying to use it more, but I'm not exactly social media savvy. Anyway, like I said, I'm Brian Gillis. You can follow me at Brian Gillis, and it's harder than it sounds. It's BRYONGILLIS, and I'm at most of those things myself. I'm not here alone. I'm with Stephen Mominex.
Hola, ¿cómo está, señor Gillis?
I'm kind of a mister. I'll go with that. I'm all right. Estoy bien y hace mucho calor. We postponed last night. If you actually keep track when episodes go out, the official reason was that I was tired after working Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And, no, I didn't have Friday. I didn't have work Friday, but I worked Saturday and Sunday, and I worked today too. So I got home and I crashed. The unofficial reason was I was very busy the last 2 days binging the first entire season of My Name is Earl. So you can listen to my review for that on the next episode of Dollar Reviews, where we talk about not just new releases on streaming or in theaters, but also anything we've been enjoying lately. We like to call it Penny Thoughts when it's on this show. On that, it's kind of like a fistful of dollars. But that's going to be our next episode. We just kind of proclaim to be on Dear White People, the movie, not the TV show. But hey, if we like the movie, maybe we'll do the TV show.
If we get it, that's still not official yet. But
it's pretty much going to happen.
I'll go for. At some point, I'll go for it. I don't know if it's going to be. We still got to figure out the schedule.
Like I'm pretty.
It's a
curious,
very chaotic week. It's been very chaotic.
The show, as far as I've read, begins literally the second the movie ends. So that's just cool from a TV/movie standpoint. And the showrunner,
too?
I think it's the same cast. It's definitely the same writer-director, and it's a fairly short one. I think it's either 6 or 8 episodes. So the movie's streaming on Netflix. The show is a Netflix original. I'm curious. It's like the evolution.
My Name is Earl. That's is that good?
It's actually pretty good. There's only 4 seasons.
I completely forgot that was the thing.
It's a sitcom. It's also on Netflix. I'd seen an episode before or two.
It's also like some on TBS. I think that's where it aired too, wasn't it? Or was it on
No.
ABC?
This was ABC, I believe it was.
And TBS just ran reruns of
Yeah,
it.
it's syndicated, but no, highly recommended. Very funny, especially if you like Jason Lee of Mallrats fame, and it's coincidentally he's co-stars with Ethan Suplee, so totally a Mallrats thing. In one of the episodes, they rob a convenience store, and the narration is, so we went to our local Quick Stop, and I was like, oh, man. But yeah, like I said, more of that on whenever the next episode of Dollar Views is. Like I said, we're all over the internet, and we do this for free. We do, on average, 2 episodes a week. It's usually closer to 3. Sometimes it's 4, and on occasion, even 5. And we do it for free. There's no paywall on our website, dollarviews.net. On anything that we do, I do VR streaming on Twitch. I put some of those videos on YouTube. I write on occasion, too, or actually, the both of us do, whether that be on the actual website or Twitter, or more likely than not on Letterboxd. That's LETTERBOXD.com, yeah. It sounds easy, and it's awesome. It's basically Yelp for movies or quick reads. Or anyway, on with the show.
You need.
Usually this is where I do the teasers. I want to switch it up because headlines were at the end of the show, which doesn't quite make sense. In my mind, it did, because it was like, hey, you've been listening this long. You actually maybe care about something that everyone else is talking about. But it's a headline. It's what you're supposed to start it with. It's at the top of the newspaper. So this week it's actually going to begin with the headlines. And the first one is not something that we usually cover on the show, because I stay away from these things personally myself nowadays. But it's just too good to ignore. Did you hear about this Fyre Festival thing?
Refresh my memory, because there's a lot of stuff going on.
I think that's a no. Okay, so this past weekend there was a basically Bahamas Coachella. It was super hyped
I heard
up.
Something about this, yeah.
Yeah, so it was super hyped up on the internet. I had never heard about it until this past weekend. But they paid lots of people on Instagram, lots of taste makers, like disruptors, like lots of social media celebrities to really amp this thing up. And on paper, it sounded really cool. It's out in the Bahamas. Ja Rule is throwing it with some dude. lots of like premier artists like Blink-182 and Major Lazer. I think Ja Rule is going to perform, Pusha T, like a lot of the good music people, other DJs. It was like we're going to have gourmet food and exotic tents and curbside seating. It's going to be on a beach of your like every you're going to have beachside views because it's going to be an island only for you guys. It's in the Bahamas. Like we're going to charter jets from Miami just for you. They're going to be 737s. We got our own ambulance from New York just in case anything wrong happens. And like the starting ticket price was around $800, and some people paid six figures. And so it sounds really cool, right? You're like, oh yeah, Coachella just happened, Stagecoach just happened. It's like right in the middle of the festival season. This is the first time this is ever going on, but it totally just blew up, kind of literally. Total disaster.
What was the
food,
problem?
like, okay, so just from the beginning, it was overbooked. The people that were working it didn't fully build everything. So, like, they were just, like, FEMA tents. They weren't exotic canopies or anything. Just a piece of, just tarp. They didn't make the sandbar properly, so the blankets that they were supposed to sleep with were wet. The pillows were, there's something wrong with that shit. The gourmet food was apparently like cheese sandwiches. Blink-182 canceled before anything bad even happened. Well, like, wind was knocking tents over. Like, tents apparently caught on fire. There was lack of communication. Like, when people were arriving off their planes, instead of, like, having a megaphone with directions, like, hey, I go here, this is your tent, they had, like, fucking music blaring from the sound system, and people were, like, standing on top of tables trying to get attention. I didn't actually go on Twitter and read these people because, hey, if you went to something like this in the first place, I don't really care what you got to say, to me or to the world.
That it's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the cheapest tickets were $800.
and six figures, really?
Some people paid six figures. That was like the VIP experience. I want to go backstage and have a meal with the artist and have like premier villa. I don't even fucking know, but I want to know what's going on with them. So yeah, this was such a disaster. It was supposed to be a 2-weekend thing, just like Coachella or all major festivals nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And so one happened. It was supposed to be Friday to Sunday, and then another one was going to be this upcoming Friday to Sunday. That one's been canceled. The whole thing has been canceled. And it was like Ja Rule was like, "Yo, I'm gonna help you out. Next year it's for free. 2018. It's gonna be in the USA. No issues. Blah blah blah. Like, don't worry about it. You're gonna get. You're not gonna refund, but it's gonna be free." That wasn't enough, and I'm kind of happy that we postponed the show for two reasons. One, today, a couple thousand people signed up for a class action lawsuit. They're fining the Fyre Festival for $100 million, which is fucking ludicrous, really. And he didn't perform. I said Ja Rule.
For that much damage, I mean,
There was no damage. Like, you're going to... I don't even know if that's a real thing. You're going to the Bahamas. The only reason you were even going, just like Coachella or EDC or Fuck Yeah Fest or Lollapalooza or name a festival, it's always the same. Even Burning Man nowadays. You go for one reason and one reason only, and that's to take pictures and post it on the internet so people think you're really cool, and then you can brag about it to people that either you know or kind of know or don't know at all.
it's true. I'm
You
not
just-
really convinced that people enjoy where they're at anymore. They just
yeah,
like to show it
I
off.
really don't. Like, the people that I'm friends with, because when it was actually called Fuck Yeah Fest, I attended 3 years in a row. I have posters in front of me. Yeah, I attended 2011, 2012, and 2013, and after 2013, I quit. I quit the year that the people that run Coachella, Golden Voice, took it over. When I did it, it was a $20 single day pass in the LA Historic Park where you were in mosh pits with dirt up your nose. And I quickly learned after that first year that you got to bring a bandana and pretend like you're in a riot, okay? Nowadays, it's 100% Coachella in LA. You get the wristbands with the trackers on them, and you get in a box shipped to your house, and it's 2 weekends, and it's like $150 a weekend, and it's a day, and there's 2 weekends. It's just not what I do, and I don't really do festivals anymore. I've done a lot of them. Like I said, I did FYF 3 times. I did Rock the Bells. I think it was in 2012. A couple other things. I don't really do concerts anymore. Like, I remember like going to parties, and like a lot of people say that whole thing where, I don't really like buying material things. I like spending money on experiences. You know, I want to go to a concert or like go to an
That's true,
opera
that
or
stuff-
maybe go to like an art exhibit. And
Experiences
I
are more
used
valuable.
yeah, for sure they are more valuable. Except in today's modern age, they really aren't. Considering I'll use Coachella as a prime example. I can sit at home naked, watch Coachella for free from a YouTube feed where I'm closer to the artist than I would have even been if I was in the front and waited 5 hours to see one particular act. And yeah, it is cooler in person, except it's not when you do actually get that position up against the rail and everyone's pushing up against you because they're trying to take your spot against the rail. I'm 100% over festivals. I am just not part of that. And I think the major reason is when I go to a concert, I leave my phone in my car. I do not take it with me. It's in my car. Not off,
Yeah.
in my car. And when you go to a concert, even a small one, even a local DIY show, and there's people with their phones out recording it for Snapchat, it's no longer an experience. The reason why it was special is, and we've talked about this on the show before, like Dave Chappelle, like, oh yeah, put your phone in this baggie. I don't want you recording my shit.
Yeah.
Like other musicians do that. Like it's kind of becoming a whole like avant-garde. I'm performing, not performing for you type of thing. And I'm totally a fan of that. Except the problem is, I still see these Snapchat videos, not even when I want to. It just shows up, or Instagram story feeds, or Facebook Live, or you know, pick your poison. It's all the same thing. And so this
That's
festival,
why I
the Fyre
actively avoid
Festival,
that shit too. Just
Yeah. So Fyre Festival was not Coachella. This was supposed to out Coachella. This is way more expensive, much more extravagant, only for like total douche lords, you know? And the irony that this thing literally imploded was over before it began, and then these people were such crybabies that they are suing the people that threw it because they're claiming it was falsified information, misrepresentation, false advertising. It wasn't what they paid for, and it wasn't literally not good enough that they're getting next year for free, and they'll probably still go next year anyway. And by the time this happens next year, if it even does happen at all, like, no one's going to even care, in the same way that like Radiohead at Coachella this year had severe audio problems that first weekend, to the point where they like almost stormed off the stage because it like you couldn't hear what they were playing like 3 separate times or something like that. But here's the real thing. This is why it's a headline. It's a headline because right after this happened, when the whole internet's talking about #Fyre Festival, which is just hilarious because it's like, it was on an island. I think it's more Fire Island, but that's like a way past tense gay joke, and also the name of the episode. Seth Rogen was like, yo, I can't believe Fire Festival stole our fucking idea for this Lonely Island movie we're making. And then Lonely Island retweeted and was like, yeah, I can't believe they stole our fucking idea. Now everyone's going to think we were making fun of the real thing. And so I don't know if it's a joke. The trades are running with this. Slash Film's running with this. Everyone's kind of going with it. They have this idea that if it wasn't real, has to be real now, of people throwing a festival that totally is a disaster. And just ends horribly. Like maybe like an artist like dies on stage or something. Maybe the Lonely Island like is assassinated on stage or something bizarre like that. I really hope this is true. I hope the Lonely Island get another movie. I still haven't seen Popstar.
Oh, it's good, man.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. I'll watch
They'll
it
get
eventually.
another one. I mean, no
Probably.
doubt.
And I hope that...
Does Hot Rod technically count as one?
No, it 100% counts, and I'm not a fan of Hot Rod. I'm not really a fan of Andy Samberg. I think the only movies that I've seen him in that he stars in that I'm actually a fan of are the Hotel Transylvania series, and that's
I Love You,
because
Man.
it's...
Well, okay, he doesn't star.
What?
But
No, yeah, I'm saying
he's a side character. Yeah.
starring role. Like, it's me.
It's like, how often is he in a starring role? Because I really...
He has his own sitcom on Fox, man.
Yeah, I know Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but as far as movies, yeah, there's Popstar, and then what else is there?
Hot Rod. He's in...
And that's something he's involved in writing in, but like anything else.
He's the star. He's the star in Hot Rod.
Yeah,
That's My Boy
like Lonely Island
with Adam Sandler.
Oh, right. Okay, there's that.
And then there's like maybe one other thing. I mean, he's not a movie star. He's
got a low profile. He's just a guy that most people recognize.
He doesn't have a low profile. He has fucking 3 comedy albums. He has a comedy route.
I'm talking about movies. He's got a low profile.
I wouldn't even say he does. Like he has
He's
a lot of
mostly a
side
supporting
gigs.
character. He's not a big star.
Only
which
because
we
he's a
pretty much said.
comedian. Like you
Yeah.
have to be upper echelon to have breakthrough success. And like look at Amy. We'll use Amy Schumer for example.
Mm-hmm.
She's the biggest female comedian. She has a big audience. She's got one movie so far. She's got Trainwreck. She has another
got
one coming
another-
out this month.
Snatched.
Yeah, which I don't think anyone's gonna see. It's coming out the same.
A lot of people are going to see that. People
Why?
keep laughing when they
Goldie
see the trailer.
Hawn looks so old. Like I don't
So?
want to see her on the screen. I. It's
A lot
like
of
there's
people
this.
still love her, man. A lot of people laugh when that trailer comes up.
I
and
haven't
it's
seen the
pretty funny,
trailer.
I'm not
I
gonna
got
lie.
no interest in this movie.
I don't know if
it's
I'm
like
going to see it in
Trainwreck.
theaters, but it's kind of funny.
It's like Trainwreck left a bad taste in my mouth.
Trainwreck's a good movie.
You can listen to our review for that one.
Yeah, no, I reviewed it positively. Like, I thought it was good.
It wasn't a rom-com, man. They sold me. I laughed, but I don't think I would laugh
It's a
watching
Judd
that
Apatow
again.
rom-com. It follows the tropes.
No,
It's
Knocked
just-
Up
it's
is
explored
100% rom-com. 40-Year-Old Virgin
differently.
is
Not really,
a
actually.
rom-com.
Knocked Up is a lot darker in that sense.
No, like
Like,
Knocked
yeah,
Up is just a
Knocked Up-
rom-com. Like rom-com
no,
is
Knocked Up has
usually
like a totally bittersweet taste in there. Like it's not exactly a happy ending that it ends on. It's just
it's
like
a totally happy ending.
No. Knocked Up is like
You-
we're gonna be
no.
fine and we're gonna get through this. That is not a happy.
It's
ending.
a very happy
That's not a
ending.
happily ever after.
They end up together. They
Yeah.
have a baby.
Yeah, they end up together. They end up together because they have a baby, and they're gonna try to make it work out. They're not fucking happy about it. They don't fucking love each other at the end of it. That's them
I think they do
taking
love
on
each other at the end
responsibility
of
and
it.
trying to fucking make it work.
No,
at that
I
point.
totally bought
I'm not
them
convinced
loving
that
each
10
other.
years down the line after that they ended up happy.
I would
There's no way. No.
trust me. They would have made or would be making a Knocked Up sequel
I
if Katherine Heigl
totally
wasn't such a
disagree,
bitch.
man.
Trust me, they would have made one in the same way that they made This Is 40. Okay, they would have made a Knocked Up sequel if Katherine Heigl didn't try to throw everyone under the bus when she was
And it would
like.
have been about how the two of them are miserable together, man. I'm telling you, like
Hey,
that whole
I don't have a
movie,
problem
they
with
don't
that.
have a relationship that works. That is not a happy ending. That's not a rom-com. Like, I mean, maybe
It's
it
a
has some
rom-com.
of the tropes, but no, like, fucking, what was it called? Trainwreck. Yeah, that follows the conventions way more, and
No,
yeah,
no.
especially in the ending. It's got that mega happy, hey, they're back together ending.
How many rom-coms have you seen?
A lot,
How many have I seen?
a lot, maybe
More.
a few more than I have.
I would
Dude,
argue
the basic
I'm
rom-com
sure a lot
tropes
more.
are guy gets girl, guy loses girl, guy gets girl back. Okay.
Yeah,
And
I don't think I've
don't
ever
think-
seen a rom-com where either the guy or the girl in question, depending on what point of view it is shown sleeping with like 4 other people.
Yeah, Trainwreck is a special case.
Yeah, not
But it's
even like
also,
I
it's,
seriously,
it's following the conventions, but it's also going against them in certain ways.
I
Knocked Up
literally
is,
can't
like,
think of
begrudgingly following
one.
that.
I can't think of one rom-com.
You can
at
change the
all.
formula. You can play with it. That's kind of what's refreshing about it, is that it doesn't go for.
The ending to
It's-
Trainwreck is so shoehorned in that I just didn't buy it at all. Like I
thought
was
it
like,
charming. I thought it was
no,
funny.
yeah, it was charming, but like if you're saying like
I
you
think
don't
that's
think
enough.
that the ending to Knocked Up is a happy ending, then Trainwreck is the complete opposite of like it's a
Knocked
very
Up is not.
like bad
It's not
ending.
a happy ending, and that's like, oh, they're happily ever after. Knocked Up is like, you know what, they're gonna be fine. That's what it is. Is like, you know what, it's not like all that shitty. They're gonna get through it, and they're
I
gonna
disagree,
be fine.
man. Like just
I don't
the
think-
voice. Like the dialogue while they're in traffic, and he's like, "I don't care if they're gonna honk all the way home. I'm not going faster than 30 miles per hour." Ha ha ha! And then the way you get the credits, where you see the pictures of all the babies with that, I'm guessing, I think it's like a James Taylor song,
Yeah.
where it's so fucking beautiful, man. I think it's impossible
I
to
think
get
it's
to the end of that
bittersweet,
movie.
honestly.
No, I think it's impossible to get to the end of that movie and not smile. Funny People is bittersweet. Like Knocked Up is a good time from beginning to end. Like it's a roller coaster of a
Funny
relationship
People's
because
kind
it
of the
goes
same
places.
way, where it's just like, yeah, they're going to be fine. Funny People, I'm more convinced that is more of a happy ending. That's more of a realistic happy ending of like, okay, once they're through that bullshit, it's all going to be good. Knocked Up, no, they're going to deal with so much shit
Like
in that
Knocked
relationship.
Up is the concept of our relationship is going to shit. Let's have a baby to try to fix things. Thrown on its head. It's we don't have a relationship, but we're having a baby, and now
Yeah.
it's working out. Like it's just the opposite of a real
It's
life
not really
story.
working. They fight fucking
Of
viciously
course they
throughout
fight.
that movie.
Everyone fights. That's
yeah, no,
why it's
there's
beautiful.
never
But
a moment where they're getting along. They're just really
That's-
stuck in this one thing. Yeah, they
I-
don't. They don't get along. They are definitely not made for each other, and they're stuck in this very very bonding situation that is quite common. And
Like
I mean,
you,
Knocked
you
Up
may
approaches it in a
think
way that's not very Hollywood. It's very fucking vicious and real in that sense of like, yeah, they are completely not like each other, and they don't connect, but they have to ride through it together no matter what.
like you may think you know my relationship stuff just because you heard one story about one person for a couple of weeks, couple
It's
of
got
months.
nothing to do with your
No,
relationship.
no,
I'm
that's
just
what I'm
telling you
saying.
that's how I see the
What I'm
movie.
saying is, I'm under the not even the impression. I seriously believe that if you don't fight with the person that you're in a relationship with on a fairly common, like frequent basis, that it's not love.
Oh
If
no,
you don't,
you do, but there's never a moment where they actually like each other. They're forcing something in that movie. They're trying to make something work because they know
well,
that this
they're
big
they're
thing
in a
is going to
shitty
happen.
situation for sure.
Yeah.
But what I'm
No,
saying
in real
is,
relationships, like yeah, if you like someone, you have to fight a bit. But that Knocked
no,
Up is not at all a romance.
I'm saying you,
man.
you fight a lot, and so given that
A
in
bit is
Knocked
an
Up,
understatement to be nice.
I can't recall in the same way like in Trainwreck, like oh yeah, like you never see someone fucking around that much in a rom com. In the same way, I can't think of many rom coms where the couple are fighting throughout the movie. Like that's why I buy into this sense of its realism because it never tries to sell you on oh this is a picture perfect situation where everything is nice. Like in the rom com that I'm writing, it goes on the conventional standard of guy meets girl, guy loses girl, they fight, they make up, they have sex again, everything's good, you know? And I would like to throw in some, ooh, it's bad, it's not, it's good there. But it's all about selling an image. It's selling, like, you know, fucking happy cards and flowers and chocolates and shit, you know? Like, you're part of the problem when you're trying to make that kind of movie. And I don't know. We got to move on with the show.
Yeah, how
but
do we get to this?
I really hope that Point Grey and the fucking Lonely Island
right.
are making this movie, that it is a real thing. Like, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are really busy. The Lonely Island guys are really busy. But I hope there's a script there. I hope it's been maybe shopped around. And if it was just a joke, they fucking write the thing, please. Like, I'd much rather see that, like, with the same kind of angle of this is the end. Like, this, get all those kinds of people again, get all your musician friends to perform, basically make, like, a, like the Lollapalooza shit inside Project Almanac, but make that, like, the whole movie. Like, get the bands performing, be in the crowd, and then shit goes haywire. Like, it's the end of the world type of thing. That would work really, really, really well. Especially if you could do something kind of like Lady Gaga did at this year's Coachella, where they filmed A Star Is Born at the festival grounds. Or in your example of, what's the South by Southwest movie?
Song by song,
Yeah.
Song to song, rather.
Song to song,
Although
same
it's
idea.
not
It's like,
really. It's supposed to be
Austin
ACL.
City Limits. Yeah,
I mean, no, they filmed for like probably like 10 minutes of screen time within a 2-hour movie. It's just it's around that scene, but it's more set in the city rather. Like you don't really get that much concert footage. You do get Val Kilmer fucking taking a chainsaw to an amp, and that's fucking insane.
Well, I want to see a movie like that with just the idea of how big the festival circuit is nowadays, that it would totally work. Like, in the same way where, like, when I'm sad about Entourage not being a thing anymore, if the show existed today, there would totally be a Coachella episode. It just, like, in the same way that there's a Sundance episode and a Cannes episode. Like, even though it was a Hollywood slanted show, in the way that music is so big in Hollywood nowadays.
It's a way where celebrities can just
exactly.
Yeah, what's the word? Meet up.
Not the word.
No, that's not the word. That's the definition of the word in the shortest terms. I am way too tired to think this out, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. The other thing that happened this week, where it actually hasn't happened, it may happen tomorrow at the time of recording, Tuesday. The WGA, because they're a bunch of dumbasses, are on the verge of another writer's strike, something that hasn't happened since... No, that's bad.
No,
since
I'm behind
2008.
them on this one for their reasons. I'm totally behind it.
I'm not saying their reasons are bad. Like, I get it, whatever. The thing is, nothing good came from last time there was a writer's strike. Movies were put out that were shit. I'm looking at the Oscars were shit. Every award ceremony was bad. People, went against the Writers Guild to make money. How long did it last? Like a good 4 months or something ridiculous.
I think
like
so. It
TV
happened,
wasn't good. Like look
it
where
was it was felt I think around 2007 was when it started, I think, and then like big casualties for movies. There was Transformers 2. There was Quantum of Solace.
Uh-huh.
Like a Harry Potter movie got delayed for an entire year, I think, because of it, just because of their release slate. Uh, and then yeah, TV sucked for a period of time. Like there's a season of Scrubs that's kind of shitty, but
Like,
that was how I felt it. But yeah, I mean, no, for the sake of art, it doesn't work. But I mean, the main reason why this one is happening, from how I understand it, is that writers, it affects their insurance premiums, and really who it's fucking around with is TV writers, because the way that most TV shows are working now is that the TV seasons are shorter, and most of these writers that are not big names, they're getting paid on a per episode basis instead of a weekly basis. So they're not getting enough work. Meanwhile, TV ratings are getting higher and higher because more people watch TV now. So the networks are making more and more money, and the writers are making less and less based on the ways that they work. So that's, from what I understand it, is what they're going for. That's how it's been told to me by writers in the WGA.
but the way I see it, in the way that all entertainment works, it doesn't matter if you're a musician, a writer, an actor, a director, a gaffer, or anything, you should only get paid for what you're actually putting out there. Like, if you aren't acting in something and you're part of SAG, you don't keep getting a paycheck, even though, like, your show is in syndication. Like, you maybe get pennies on the dollar. Like, you gotta put yourself out there more. You gotta keep doing it. Any writer, even if you're not truly a writer, if you got a keyboard, even if you don't have a keyboard, if you got a typewriter or a fucking cell phone, you have the ability to write something. And if you can write something, you can sell something. Even if you can't sell something, you get in the blacklist. You know, like, you can do something with your work. The internet is such a tool now that I don't think you should punish the entire industry, because it's not just the networks or the studios. It's literally everything, because if you are in Hollywood and you write in any capacity, even jokes for stand-up, you got to go on strike for some reason, because the people
these guys
that you
want to make sure that they have health insurance and they have the right insurance for their families, and that's a big thing. That's
most writers don't make
in
a
the
lot of
landscape
money,
right now.
and as of right now, because nothing changed in Trump's first 100 days, there's still Obamacare. You can still get free health insurance. Most people are covered by that, me included. I had to reapply recently because mine expired somehow. I got it. It was a pain in the ass. It took a couple of weeks. So if you are a starving artist, me, if you're a writer who, better than me, is actually got your name on something, if you've got a byline on a script that has made money, or especially is on TV already, I think it's a very childish thing. In the same way that when sports have walkouts, or there's like players association quibbles, and it's like, oh, we're not going to have a preseason this year type of shit. It's like, you're already not writers, but you're already so fucking rich. Like, you're punishing the people that get enjoyment out of what you do.
This is not about the big guys, though. This is about the smaller writers that make shit, and it's a majority of them. It's mostly TV writers.
But
that are
TV
getting
is
dicked over
so
here.
big now that
Exactly, it's so big, and
I
yet
can't
these are
buy
the
it.
guys that are not. No, I mean, the way that TV works, some of these guys are just getting paid on a weekly basis, and there are not many shows that get full season orders anymore. Now it's 12 or 13 episodes instead of 24 or 26. So
yeah, so
I
write
mean,
more TV shows.
That's already cut in
write a
half.
movie. Like, I don't get paid on a weekly basis. I get paid every other week.
Not everyone gets jobs that way, man. Like, it's messy that way. It's that, and then it's their insurance, and I mean, it's not, there's a lot of names out there that you don't know, but that are involved in a lot of shows out there. And
But my problem with guilds or unions is that it's not about the little guys. It's about everyone.
Well, that's
and
what they're making this strike about. There's
well,
writers
that's
I'm
what
following
every
on,
strike
even
is
on
about.
Twitter that are not, they're supporting the strike, even though they know that they're protected because they want to protect these guys out there.
Well, it's more like they have to support them, because if they don't, the WGA will fucking outs them. Like,
come on,
I am part of a guild like that. I don't pay dues because I'm not an active member of what the fuck's it called? Shit, what's it called? It's
SAG?
No, I'm not an actor.
You told me you had a SAG card, or someone did?
Not me. No. Well, technically, I'm part of SAG.
I think it was you then.
I'm an AGVA member, the American Guild of Variety Artists, which is part of the original four. So if I paid my dues and I was up to date, I would be technically part of AFTRA and SAG. It's after SAG, AGVA, and then there's a fourth one, Equity. So yes, technically I don't have a card, but technically I am part of the big guild. And if I were to work at Universal Studios again, they would take a part of my paycheck, and that's cool because the rest of the people that do it on an annual basis, and yeah, it covers the same things. Insurance in the workplace. If there's a strike, I'll be compensated. If I get laid off for whatever reasons, they'll help me pay my rent or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But unions, guilds,
are messy.
All that shit. It's
I really don't know if I'm a fan of them.
I'm not a fan. It's basically communism in a way. It's socialism. It's kind of bullshit. I have a job. You're telling me that I can only keep my job if I join your special group where you steal my money for some reason? Like, what's the benefit, truly, of being in a guild other than you're not allowed to work in the industry unless you're part of the guild? How's that even work in the first place? Like, look at people like Robert Rodriguez that literally have left the DGA on 2 separate occasions because they said, you're not allowed to do that. Like, the first time was on Sin City when they said, you can't let Frank Miller be a co-director because he's not part of the DGA. And the reason he's not part of the DGA is because he's never made a movie. And he can't make a studio movie as his first movie because that's against the rules. Sorry. He's like, well, fuck you then. This is not a DGA movie. And then the second time, I think, was for one of the Spy Kids movies or something like that.
George Lucas did the same thing.
Yeah, for Attack of the Clones.
The reason was... No. It was... this is way back on Empire. The reason was really stupid was that... You think about it, Star Wars is the very first movie to ever have, real ending credits. Where, they have them directed by, written by, produced by, and then,
you got that backwards. It's literally the first movie that didn't have an opening credits.
No, it has opening credits. It's the first one that has ending credits where it's all the credits at the end. And then everything has...
Star Wars... No. Sorry. Star Wars does not have opening credits.
Yeah, it does. Lucasfilm production, Star Wars, and then the title crawl.
That is not an opening credits.
It's not okay, but it's a title.
Opening credits is a film by, written by, produced by. Okay. Star Wars began that trend. It ended
what I'm
the
saying
opening
is
credits.
that they have the ending credits that have everything that we see now, right? Where you get the little title cards and everything.
Yeah, because they killed the opening
that
credits.
Scroll that goes up. Yeah,
they had
he
to.
Did that he did that in the 70s, and then he got permission for it in the first one, and so he did that in Empire, but he didn't ask for special permission for that one, so the DGA gave him a hard time, and then he ended up quitting the Directors Guild for that. Now, what was supposed to happen later on is that Steven Spielberg was supposed to do Return of the Jedi, but because Spielberg was part of the DGA, they wouldn't let that happen. So
yeah, they let some French dude instead do it.
They ended up getting a rich British director instead.
Was he British? I thought he was French.
Richard Marquand, yeah.
They got some dude that has
Welsh,
never directed anything else ever. I still how?
But yeah, Spielberg was supposed to do Return of the Jedi, and because of that thing, that didn't happen.
I think that's a good thing, to be honest. I kind of can't imagine a Spielberg Star Wars movie.
It's tough, yeah.
I just, especially that one.
It was
to be honest.
possible if that kerfuffle never happened.
Then after E.T., I really can't imagine him directing another Muppet, or lots of them actually. It would have been cool if he directed
they're
Empire.
All midgets in suits, not Muppets. But.
Well, I'm talking about Yoda and Jabba and Jabba's little fucking whatever you want to call it. Those are Muppets.
What
Empire
would
would be
space battle look like though? That's what I'm curious.
No,
about.
Empire would be an awesome Spielberg movie, big time. That the whole thing, especially the Dagobah system stuff. That would Irvin Kershner did a great job, but that.
I can't imagine fixing Empire in any other way. It's perfect.
I'm not saying fixing it. I'm just saying.
No. It's really tough to imagine it and maybe it's part of his childhood and just seeing those movies so many times. But I cannot imagine those movies any differently. I really can't.
Well, if this writer strike goes through, it will undoubtedly affect Star Wars Episode 9, and even more so the Han Solo Solo thing. And with those Disney movies
and Episode 9, I think this year, aren't they?
They're shooting.
They're way ahead on there.
Fox,
so they should have a script done already.
Remember last week how Fox showed off all those dates? Hey, this is coming out this time, and this time, and this time. They here's the Avatar sequels. Disney did the exact same thing this week. So here's their dates. Lion King is going to be July 19th, 2019. So we're pretty much exactly 2 years away. Yep. But here's a little bit of hope here. Seth Rogen may be the voice of Pumbaa.
I don't care.
Which is kind of cool. And then
love Seth Rogen, but I don't care.
And then what's his name? Billy Eichner might be Timon, which makes sense because he's one of the gayest guys in Hollywood. What's his name? Titus, the black dude from Kimmy Schmidt. I kind of like
Don't
him.
know.
Star Wars Episode 9, it is very peculiar. It's going back to its summer roots. It's going to be exactly 2 years from right now. It's going to be May 24th, 2019. So that's very interesting. I don't know why they would do that.
They might delay it again for all we know. Like, I would not be surprised if they did that, where just at some point they announce the release date where they're going to shift it back to the holiday season just to do it consistently. But then again, I don't know. Han Solo looks like it might stick it out for this summer, so we'll see.
Next summer.
Next summer, yeah.
Yeah,
that's weird, though, because that's the summer of Infinity War, so
I think they're converting. I think what Disney's probably going to be doing is they want a true family movie, probably, during the Christmas time. One right here, for instance, Frozen 2 is going to be November 27th, 2019. So that's going to be...
It's the same release date as the first one.
Yeah, so, something like Frozen, like a Disney movie, like an actual Disney movie, is a much bigger get for Christmas that you can sell that, What do you... Like, think about this. It's Christmas Day. Hey, family, what do you want to see? Star Wars? And it's like, yeah, I love Star Wars. Versus Frozen is like, oh my fucking God, put the soundtrack on.
That was for this Thanksgiving weekend, though. Like, yeah,
you're
Christmas
still going to
week,
see it
I could
Christmas,
totally
though,
see Star Wars getting that, man.
I don't know. Christmas didn't make sense for Star Wars.
Two
like
Star Wars movies have kicked ass in that season already, so...
I won't really say Rogue One kicked ass, but yeah, it did
but
really
good. But
good.
it used the brand, and people kept going for it, It had legs, it kept going.
But Star Wars to me, and to most people, if you think about holiday movies, it's a 4th of July type of thing. Like, it's before Labor Day, It's summer. It's let's go ride our bikes to the movie theater, bring our fucking quarters to get in type of idea, versus like what they made it turn into. Like, I think what Disney was probably doing with Episode 7 was chasing Avatar. And I think the best thing about this,
they did, the reason why that got delayed was because they were trying to work on the script. That's why.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the way that they did Star Wars the last 2 years as a Christmas thing was they were going after the Avatar money. Like, they proved that that's a Christmas thing. And maybe since Disney is in cahoots with James Cameron on Avatar, with Avatar Land at Disney World, and I'm sure that's going to come to Disneyland eventually, and maybe like Disney Paris and Tokyo or wherever the fuck, that they decided, especially after last week when Fox said, oh yeah, here's the Avatar movies, they're all going to be December. They went, how about we don't compete with that? Because we're really cocksure and that we got a fucking thoroughbred with Star Wars and Marvel and shit, but let's not try to chase the biggest movie of all time. That's insane. So that's probably what it is. And maybe also to make the fans happier. Like, think about it just in terms of a Comic-Con and Star Wars Celebration way. Those are like April, May. You put the movie out in May, then you can just ride that hype train. Put the trailer out in May, fucking the movie's out in May. Like, that's just brilliant. You don't even have to do the marketing at that point. Like, Twitter will do it for you. The internet will do it for you. Versus this year, for example, they put the trailer out 2 weeks ago. And now you literally have to wait 6 more months. That's a long time to wait. Like, 6 months, you're not going to forget about it necessarily.
Well, it's a teaser, it's something to whet your appetite for that.
Yeah, but...
Like, I didn't see the trailer, but I hear it was vague enough that...
Think about it this way, though. You're probably going to get the first teaser for Episode 9, or even better yet, the Han Solo movie, Christmas. Maybe they put out like a Marvel movie.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Thanksgiving. Like, they do a Marvel movie Thanksgiving or Christmas. You get a trailer, and then you wait another 5-6 months, and you get the movie. You get the real trailer, the teaser for Christmas. You get the actual trailer at Celebration only like a month or two before the movie comes out. Like, it just makes more sense. That's probably what they figured. I don't know. But happy that they did that. And then Indiana Jones, as you know, because we talked about this during Debt to Cinema, because we did a George Lucas movie this week. Indiana Jones 5 is coming in 2020, 4th of July weekend, basically, even though it's the 10th. And the weirdest thing about that is that Harrison Ford is going to be 77 years old. I really can't imagine that. He's going to be playing the role of Indiana Jones. Filming
he looks great for his age, man. He played Han Solo,
when he played Han Solo, he broke his foot on set.
Man. Yeah.
He broke his foot on set. Since then, he landed...
in his 70s. He's in fucking great shape.
He landed his plane on a fucking golf course. He almost crashed into an airplane tower a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, he might look young. Okay, he might be spry. Okay, but I don't know. Like
He's holding in there, man. I mean,
I
you
can't.
know,
I can't really imagine the bullwhip
if
professor at 76
if Indiana
fucking
Jones
doing
doesn't
shit.
work, I don't think it's going to be his fault.
I don't think it can not work. It's Steven Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy, George Lucas. Well, we still don't know if George Lucas is involved, but I'm pretty sure he is in some capacity. I can't see it not doing well. It's Lucasfilm, like outside of the Clone Wars animated movie.
No, but I mean, if it works for the sake of quality.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like outside of the Star Wars Clone Wars movie, the animated one, they've never had a real miss in theaters. So this
Howard the Duck.
that doesn't count.
Are we talking about Lucasfilm here or what?
Like true Lucasfilm. Like
Clone Wars was Lucasfilm and Warner Brothers, so
yeah, I'm saying like that one. That's the one I'm counting. Like Howard the Duck. Like that's a Universal picture. I wouldn't really call that a Lucasfilm movie. I mean,
sure.
we have this conversation that
it
cinema,
says
even
George
though it's
Lucas
ILM.
presents, not Universal
Yeah,
presents.
it's-
So I mean, I know people lost their jobs at Universal, but I'm thinking, man, Lucas had to front quite a bit of money if it's going to say George Lucas presents. Like
Maybe I saw it.
that's more than just an executive producer role. He had to like really.
I think you just
I want to
push.
say it's a really
they-
Lucasfilm production.
It doesn't, as far as I recall, there isn't a Lucasfilm banner at the front of the movie.
No,
you don't
no.
see that. It's just the Universal.
Well, the logo that we have now was not even around then, but
Well, they did have a logo though. Like, wait, did they?
they had for Star Wars in the original cuts. They just had a text that said a Lucasfilm production. That's basically a credit.
Yeah, oh yeah. There isn't. It
yeah,
doesn't. It
but
definitely
that's
doesn't.
not
It
a
just says.
logo.
It says George Lucas presents.
Yeah,
Yeah, he just gets top billing.
yeah. It's the first thing that you see. It doesn't say anything about Universal or Universal production.
Well, they don't have
So
to.
that's-
You literally get their studio logo. You don't need that. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, when you do that, then that makes them seem more like distributors rather than executives that help make the movie or finance it.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't know. I
You know, it's
Howard
like
the
when
Duck
Paramount
might have-
had the Marvel movies. It didn't say Paramount presents; it said Marvel Studios presents. You know.
Yeah, but you still got, like, in the same way, you got the studio logo at the beginning. If you look at the DVD sleeve, like the spine, you get whatever studio it was that put out those first 5.
Yeah, as distributors, right? Like not financiers that help make the movie.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I don't think Howard the Duck counts as Lucasfilm. Like, if you went on Wikipedia and you looked up, like, their filmography, I'm not sure it would be on there. Like, it doesn't, despite having, like, certain people that played a major role in their library, and not, George Lucas among others, and ILM, and then, like, fucking Joe Johnston, like, all those guys. I don't know. And what's his name? The guy that did the go motion effects in the final moments of that one.
Phil Tippett.
Tibbet, yeah, there you go. I'm not even count it. Like if it's not Indiana Jones or Star Wars, it's not really Lucasfilm.
It's not iconic like that, but it was made, man.
Yeah,
That is
no,
a
yeah, it
George
was made,
Lucas
but it's
production,
like
man.
it's kind of like shit. It's like there's like one other movie outside of Indy and Star Wars that counts, like actually counts. Like I think that has the logo. It
Is it Willow?
maybe it might be Willow. I haven't seen Willow. I don't know.
I've not seen it either.
Like, I know what it is. It's fucking Val Kilmer, and it's basically The Hobbit. Like, I'm familiar with what it is. I know it stars, what's his name? Fucking, main midget dude. The main Ewok. Wicket. What's his name?
Yeah. Well, hey, guess what?
Warwick Davis. There you go.
Well, guess what? You go on the Lucasfilm wiki page, and
Is
you
it
look
there?
at the filmography. Yep, it's there.
There you go.
Along with Labyrinth, Willow, some stuff I've never heard of. Oh, yeah, Land Before Time is a Lucasfilm production. I forgot about that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a weird pick.
Spielberg and Lucas produced that. But
Well, I
yeah,
knew Spielberg
yeah,
did
it's
that
on
one.
there.
Like, also, the American Tail movies, among
Yeah,
other things.
yeah,
Transformers.
he produced some of Don Bluth's best stuff, but yeah. Yeah, Lucas produced Land Before Time as well, though. Yeah, it's on there as on the first credit, I think, or the first title card, anyway.
But just the first one, like the 10 sequels.
Yeah, no, not like the straight-to-DVD shit that happened.
I don't think all of...
I don't even think Spielberg has his name on that.
I want to say the first sequel might have got a theatrical release too. I'm not sure. There's literally like 10 sequels. They still go on. Like
Yeah.
they put them out today. which is crazy. I can't like that franchise is literally Homeward Bound with dinosaurs.
You know, it's funny. More American Graffiti is a Lucasfilm production, apparently, according to this, but I didn't think Lucas had any involvement with it. Evidently, though, he still profited if his company was attached to it.
I watched like 10 minutes of that once. I turned it off. There's some
Yeah,
really
I
weird
don't know if
editing
I
that
wanna see
goes
that.
on where it's like split screen, like dual sequences, and it's more of like an anti-war like hippie movie than an actual hangout teen comedy. There's no drag racing. There's no Harrison Ford. Like it has the same.
I mean,
there's
it's
no
more
Richard
into the
Dreyfuss.
Vietnam War at that point.
Yeah,
right?
like there's no Richard Dreyfuss, but there's everyone else, including Ron Howard. And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, it's not enticing.
It's like I like most of the cast in that first one, but it's a Richard Dreyfuss movie, like through and through.
Seriously.
He's the one that carries the whole thing. He has the interesting story with the Wolfman Jack and the love interest, the older lady. Like, it's him. He gets in the hijinks with the cop car. Like, it's his movie.
Mm.
Here's something I am excited about because dates don't really do it for me unless I'm the one going out on them. Zing. Time Warner, following up on their Boomerang streaming app, has another one in the works, and they already got content going for it. They're making a digital-only DC network. It doesn't have a title. I'm pretty sure it's going to be called like DC Now or something like that. It's going to be launching with live-action Titan show and also an animated Young Justice Outsiders, which is going to be the third season for that / a reboot. So this Titan show's actually got a really interesting track record. It was originally, back in like 2011, pitched at TNT. They were going to make it. It was basically going to be Teen Titans, but for like young, like our age, you know? Like a little grittier, like pretty dramatic. And that just died. And it was going to go to the CW, and they're like, no, we don't want to do it. So then this is cool now. Like given that they have a good track record with making the stuff, they're getting... Oh, fuck, what's their names? The guys that work on the CW and do all 5 of those shows, they're going to be running this. Yeah, Greg Berlanti, and he's the real one that matters. It's Greg Berlanti. And then Jeff Johns is also going to be playing a major role with this DC Digital stuff. He's actually already writing the script for the Titans show. He posted a picture on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, or this past week, rather, of just like, it's a picture of not the Teen Titans, but the Titans. It has Superboy on it, and it has... Raven, and it's like a bigger cast of characters than what's present on the Teen Titans or Teen Titans Go. I love those shows, and I hope it has a little bit of cheat going for it too. This would be cool, especially if it's part of the DCEU, which I would hope it is, and then even better than that, if it is also part of the Berlantiverse, which I'm pretty sure it will be. So they've already had the crossover with Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow. I'm sure that they're going to extend that to Black Lightning when that lands later this fall. And so if you can take those 5 shows and like merge it also with the Titans, that's next level shit. Like when Defenders comes out later this year on Netflix, I don't think a lot of people are going to give a shit, to be honest, in the way that Luke Cage didn't really hit home. Iron Fist, no one really cared about. Like, it's just Daredevil.
But it's Daredevil, Jones. Though. I mean, that's going to be enough for them
it's
it was
Daredevil,
the
Jessica
Jones,
Jones, and Punisher.
It was the same thing kind of with the Avengers back in the day. Like Hulk, not that big a deal. Captain America and Thor were movies that people generally liked, but they were fine with it. I mean, it was Iron Man that they were really kind of pimping that out as, and then they grew to love those characters through that. So. Don't discount the Defenders yet.
I'm not discounting. It's just unless they really raise the stakes and they take it out of this is the MCU, but it's Brooklyn, dog. We're not the real world. We're Brooklyn. We're on the streets. They're in the strats. We're in the streets. If they can escalate that, if they can have
fucking up whatever's going on in Manhattan.
If they can literally have some kind of huge event, like, I don't know, fucking Kingpin comes out of prison, he teams up with the purple dude, and they also bring someone else along for the ride, okay? And they do some cataclysmic shit, and everyone's involved, and it's a big, like, the stars align, and then Thanos shows up. You know, like, something big, to the point where it's like, oh, these are no longer the Defenders. Now it's the Avengers, like, sidekicks. Or, like, some shit. Like, if you can get someone to make an appearance in some way. Like, there's this gif going around on Reddit right now, where Daredevil is walking down the street, and then Tom Holland walks right past him, type of thing. If that's done, okay, in this, like, not Spider-Man, But Tom Holland, if he shows up and he just walks through the frame real fast, something like that, like what, which has already been fan made, then yeah, it's gonna make it to a point where people are actually talking about it. Because, like I said, Jessica Jones is really good. Both seasons of Daredevil, pretty damn good. Punisher, I'm sure is gonna be great. But Iron Fist is like the worst rated Marvel thing ever. Like maybe even worse than Howard the Duck, to be honest.
Some people are watching that show and digging it. Like
I saw the first episode. It's so fucking goofy. Yeah.
Some people think it's fun, man. I mean,
like
it's more like critics are. It's one of those things where you look at that and critics fucking hate it.
Can't even sell it to you. This is what I got from it. It's like, hey, I'm this kid that was really annoying, and you guys set it up so my plane crashed and my parents died, but I didn't die. Well, actually, I did die, but I'm alive now, and I got like special powers, and I can do karate, guys. Look at me.
You sold me. I don't want to watch the show now. You sold that to me. You convinced me. Okay.
He does actually kind of sound just like that. I had to stop watching it. It was at the point kind of like, yeah, the Avengers, like you said, is like, you don't have to see all those movies, and you don't, in the way that you don't have to see all the movies today. You just got to see the pinnacle ones.
Hey, maybe the Defenders will make you like them.
Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe.
Could be I hope it's more than just makes me like it. I hope that it actually contributes in a way to the MCU that matters, because Berlanti and Jeff Johns and the CW, like, DC gets it, like, in a big bad way. Like, they really truly understand why fanboys exist, and if this show can be, I'm sure it's gonna happen. When you have the fucking guy that basically runs DC, when you have the chief creative officer, when you have the president of DC Entertainment writing this TV show, it's pretty major. Like, there is no figurehead like that in Marvel. There's Kevin Feige, and then you have their TV guy, who I love, that's fucking whatchamacallit. Oh man, I'm blanking right now, that's bad. Jeff Loeb. No. Yeah. Jeff Loeb. He's the head of Marvel TV. But them two together is not Jeff Johns. As good as Jeff Loeb's comic writing is. I own most of his Tim Sale team-up shit. But it's not the same. Like, yeah, because there's still that possibility that the DCEU is somehow able to bring in all of the TV entities within their film like section of their universe, and that's something that Marvel, even if they did it, wouldn't be important. It wouldn't matter. No one would care, because their TV stuff, even if it is good or even if it is shitty, just doesn't have that wow factor. And I think the reason that doesn't exist is 100% because of the idea of streaming, and that binging doesn't make you actually love a show. You watch it, you really like it, you're done with it in a couple of days, and then you, for the most part, never talk about it again. But when you only see it once a week, and you can only watch it once a week, you have a conversation that lasts for 24 weeks every year. Like, it's a different model, and it's why DC has got it, or at least Time Warner's got it, between HBO and the CW and TNT even. Like, they just TCM to an extent. Like, I think their model of television is better suited for a medium that tells stories that have always and forever been told in a serialized fashion. So it just works better for me. The last little headline that we got right here is kind of cool and also scary. It's about Amazon trying to take over the world once again. They have a new Alexa thing. This one's called the Echo Look, and it does exactly like it sounds. It's a Alexa integrated smart mirror that is able to look at your wardrobe and judge your fashion sense. If it sounds like you've seen this before, it's because you have. They 100% stole the idea from the opening of Clueless, so I'm not upset. But I'm kind of happy that this technology is finally existing 25 years later. So yeah,
22.
25.
23 almost.
I'll just round up.
I think it's 95, right?
Yeah, I think it's 95.
Paul Rudd's the one that ended up with a career on that. That's insane.
Amy Heckerling. I mean, she already had a career at that point.
Yeah. No, I mean, as far as the stars in that movie.
Well, Alicia Silverstone was fucking Batgirl, man. She was Batgirl.
And where is she now?
She's like doing...
Paul Rudd's an Avenger right now, dude. Like, right now.
Alicia Silverstone, in the same decade that movie came out,
was
thought.
Batgirl, and
Yeah.
then that died.
Well, that's not her fault. She's
That
not.
didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, she's
she
not bad in that
disappeared. She's
movie.
off the grid. Paul Rudd is relevant
She's
right
not.
now.
She's not off the grid. Like, trust me, she's probably still doing TV. And I think I saw her not actually saw her in something, but I think she's in something soon. Like, in the same way, like, I sent you that link about Leia Thompson. She's going to be in a Little Women adaptation, so good on her, man. She's still doing things. I'm very happy.
we talked about that, right?
No, that was announced after we did our episode of for Howard the Duck. So, yeah, this is kind of scary because, you know, I currently have, like, 5 cameras pointed at me, but they're not connected to the internet and built to actually watch me and listen to me and decide if I look good or not. You know, this is literally a camera that's the sole intention. It's kind of cool. Like, you dress up in a certain outfit.
The Circle came out this weekend, and now all this stuff is coming to pass.
It's funny that the Circle came out this weekend and there's no one talking about it. It's number 4.
No, it's stupid how fucking insane the hate of that movie is. Like, I am on the exact opposite of everyone else. Man.
It's an 824 pick, right?
No, it's STX.
Okay, well, still see it on Amazon. It was number 4 this weekend. Number 3 was a Bollywood film.
Yeah, which I saw the first one for that.
Did you actually?
No, I talked about it on 2 Cents like 2 years ago. Remember, that was the one.
Oh no, I thought
film
you saw Doom.
No,
you
no,
saw
no. I saw
Bahubali?
Bahubali Part 1.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for
now
the
the
sequel.
sequel's out.
I want to see this fucking movie. It looks awesome.
I want to see it too. No, yeah, the first one is fucking crazy.
They
it's
have
pretty
a,
fun.
a VR experience for this sequel.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's the first time there's been an Indian VR experience. It's made by AMD, which
Dude,
is
this thing
big
was a
time.
big thing when it came out.
It's really big. I
went
want
to a sold-out theater when I first saw it.
I want to see this movie. I don't know if I'm gonna see it in theaters, just because I don't even know what my closest cinema that would have it is, and I haven't seen the first one. But it looks pretty fucking epic. Like,
it's weird, but the draft house closest to me had it, but they had it only for the weekend, and they had one showing of it like each day, and now I can't see it over the week if I want. So
that sucks.
Yeah, I went and
Still,
saw the
I can't
Circle
believe-
instead. I do not regret that.
I can't believe something in limited release without one bankable star in America trumped a
On
Tom
less
Hanks
than 500 screens.
Tom Hanks, Emma Stone, James Ponsoldt movie. That's just insane.
Well, it's also a poorly marketed Tom Hanks, Emma Stone, James Ponsoldt movie.
That may be, but even still.
Don't forget John Boyega. Don't count him out.
Even still. One of our listeners was in the Circle. That's like
Bill
my main.
Paxton's last movie, man.
I want to
Wait,
see it. But yeah, someone I know who listens to our show. He did background work on the Circle.
Oh, cool.
So I kind of want to see it just to see if I can find him. And one of the scenes like, this
no,
movie's so fucking boring. Oh, there he is.
I really, really like the movie, and I happen to think that everyone is fucking nuts when it comes like the Letterboxd reviews are insane for that, man. Like it's
well, from what I can
just,
gather
yeah.
from just what I had no clue about, but I've read in 5-second reviews, is that it's a movie that's trying to be a witch hunt for Google when you can't fucking do that because it's Google.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's not what I saw.
That's what I've gathered. That's what the internet's gathered. That's what
Yeah,
most of the
no,
reviews say.
it is not like. Just you
I'll
should
see it. No,
man.
I will see
like,
it. I'll see it in like 4 months or whatever. I'll see
Sure.
it. I'll see it down the line.
Yeah, we can talk about it then, because
We'll talk about
I actually have a lot of good things to say about it. I was ready to champion it, and I saw so much hate on it, and I was like, wow, no, like, this is not nowhere near bad. Like, you could dislike it, sure, but nowhere near bad.
Yeah. So this is the part
anyway
where we say we got other shows. Oh, first off, before we move on, talking about Amazon, they got this camera up. Be scary. They're doing something really cool this week. Even if only like 2,000 people are gonna be like celebrated because of their Oscar wins for Manchester by the Sea. Everyone in the actual Manchester by the Sea is going to be getting a free Amazon Prime subscription for a whole year. Like I said, it's only 2,300
that's
households.
actually still scary, but
It's only 2,300 households, but pretty cool. It's like, hey, weren't you in that movies? Yeah, that was me. No, it actually wasn't. I just lived here.
yeah, they're gonna own that town pretty soon, man.
I doubt it.
It's kind of scary.
No, I don't.
I don't
I
know
don't know.
the power that Amazon's at, but yeah, no, it's cool. Prime is cool,
Yeah,
man.
they're getting free Prime, and they also get like a box of free popcorn, and they're getting it
Hmm.
like throughout this upcoming week, which is kind of cool. So yeah, this is. I wish we did the follow up stuff at the top of the show, but hey, we got time for it after we pimp out the rest of our things. So if you liked what you've heard so far, we do movie reviews. That's what we do primarily, and 2 Cents is probably going to die in the next 7 weeks because it takes a lot of time to do, takes a lot of time to set up, and it doesn't get listened to nearly as much as our other content. Our other content is dollar reviews, that we talked about kind of earlier. It's our spoiler-free, no recaps of new releases on streaming or in theaters. We do a little bit of everything, mostly filmmakers that we're fans of, also superhero stuff. So Logan, Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad, Doctor Strange. We did all of those. Star Wars
We're
Episode 7.
missing
We actually
one for the
did.
first time since we started, man. Like,
Hmm?
we're gonna miss on one for the first time since we started.
No,
This weekend, man, Guardians 2. We're not gonna be here for
that's
that.
not for the first time. I saw Lego Batman.
Okay, for a major tentpole, I mean, is Lego Batman a major tentpole?
It was a huge movie. It's a
Yeah,
Batman.
it was like
A Batman movie's a
middle
Batman
ground,
movie.
big budget movie. It was like
It's
a
no,
$70 million movie, man.
it's a Batman movie.
I'm sure.
Like I kind
I
of wish I
completely
saw it.
forgot that movie came out.
I kind of wish I
honestly.
saw it twice, to be honest. Like,
Really?
yeah, like
Like,
I wasn't the biggest fan when I saw it. Like, I was like, I think that's because it was kind of early. It was a matinee. I had work after it, and I didn't love everything in it. But no, yeah, I mean, I got my
man,
Lego Batman movie Lego minifigures in front of me. Like, I got
no one's
memorabilia.
really talking about it, honestly. Like,
It came out a long time. No one's
it
fucking
just
talking
kind
about
of came
Logan
along.
anymore. Like, we're gonna be talking about
No,
Logan.
people are still talking about
I
Logan.
don't know why they're fucking stupid. We're gonna be talking about Logan in a minute, not
People
because I
love
want
Logan,
to
man.
talk about it. It's super fucking overrated, man. It's
Oh, I'm with you there, but no, like, I know a lot of people that love that movie, still love that movie.
like I've read numerous times on the internet. Logan made me cry. I'm like, in what way, man?
Yeah,
How
like,
did it make you cry?
I wasn't there with that,
No,
but
I was like,
I
this.
still think it's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's a good
man.
movie. It's like,
yeah.
there's some emotional beats. Like, there's great acting. There's some not great music. There should have been.
There's some beats where I didn't cry, but I was definitely moved by, for
Yeah, I was
sure.
moved. We're gonna move on, but like I said, we'll come back to Logan. And then some of the more recent things that we've done, or Amazon Prime and Netflix wise, we did The Handmaiden. That's on Amazon Prime. We've done every one of Adam Sandler's Netflix movies: Sandy Wexler, Ridiculous Six, The Do Over. We even did Pixels, Power Rangers, Camera Person L, La La Land, Green Room, Swiss Army Man. Lots of things that are already on streaming, even if they're not part of your subscription package. So award movie stuff. We tried doing TV shows. Probably never again. That was very difficult. I watched the entire second season of Daredevil within
And I
24
didn't even make it
hours
through it.
of
Yeah.
its premiere.
I still got to finish that.
That was insane. I can't believe I did that. That was bad for me. That's
That
probably
was
why I have
tough,
so
yeah.
many white hairs nowadays. But yeah, we try to do it for us, and then also so you can listen. And like I said earlier on the show as well, there's also everything that we've been doing over the past week, any music or movies, otherwise that we've been listening to, watching, and we just share them. Our other show, which is a lot more popular and has probably got the most staying power, is Debt to Cinema, and it's our semi-topical list of shame show, where we try to pick something on the calendar that makes sense. So this week, we've already talked about Howard the Duck a good couple of times. That's because if you've seen the first Guardians of the Galaxy, he makes a little cameo towards the end. So we thought it was only fitting. This upcoming week, we have The Tribe, which is a really interesting, completely, not necessarily silent, but non-talky film that only came out a couple years ago. That was on Netflix also. So I'd give that a listen. Buy that for $1. It's gonna be out in like 8 days or something like that. Some other things that we've done: we did The Conversation, Biodome, Jesus Christ Superstar, West Side Story. We did a couple of remakes and originals. All the President's Men, Time Crimes, lots and lots of stuff. We're at almost 90 episodes for that, so it's been going for quite some time. And this part where we do an ad break because I've been talking for a while and I'm tired and I don't want to wear my voice out, so I'm gonna drink some water out of a canteen.
All right. I guess you want me to take over here?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What do I got? Oh, hey, have you ever had this issue where you've had to unclog your bathtub because there could be some hairs that get in there or something? Shit like that.
No,
No?
no.
Yeah, well, I had this problem in my apartment where for a while, even before I moved in, like I would be taking a shower, right? And the water would just be rising up to my feet, and I just knew that it was clogged and because it was draining slowly. I was like, all right, whatever, I'll deal with that at some point, or I'll hit up maintenance. But Today, I decided to deal with it on my own, and it was one of those drains where you have to turn it because it's kind of locked in there, and I couldn't do that with my hands. So what I had to get pliers,
What?
and I got Craftsman pliers, and they did the job within seconds. And now the water just runs down the drain so fucking smoothly, and I'm taking a shower and I'm happy about it now
I
without water
recommend
rising at my feet.
I'd recommend one of two other things instead next time. You buy this super cheap thing, you can get it for like $1 to $3. It's a cover that goes over your drain, so you don't get the hair that actually goes in there. And then every couple
Oh
of
yeah, no, but
days
it
or
was
week,
already
you just
it was already
move
filled.
that.
Like the thing was clogged before I moved in.
Okay,
That was
well,
like a problem the whole time.
buy this thing now.
I'm working on it now.
Yeah, it's gonna
but
be
no,
like it's literally like
these
$3.
pliers were $3.
Yeah,
Also.
well, you can
and it
buy
worked out great.
you can buy a metal one. It's like a mesh cover. You can buy a rubber one, which does the same thing, and it's basically a strainer in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just empty it. Because yeah, I take that back.
So it
I've
wasn't
had
even
the
my
drain.
hairs, man. Like they were really fucking long. Probably some chick or something that was living there. Like it was nasty pulling that out.
Yeah,
Like they were in there really, really deep. Like
yeah.
fucking like two large size Coke cups from like a fast food place. That's how much I could have filled up.
It was an hour
Yeah,
ago, so I
like
can't actually recall if I did it, so the ad break doesn't quite make sense, because I remember saying that we do it for free, but I don't think I pimped out Patreon.
you did not.
Patreon.com/dollar reviews is where you can pay us for our content. There's all kinds of different models. The one that I really sold last week that no one's bought yet, or at least I don't think so. No one's bought yet, is I'll do VR horror for you. I'll subject myself to some scary games in virtual reality and get terrified, and there's already a trailer for that. You can find it on our YouTube page, youtube.com/dollar review. You can see me get terrified. It's Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, Patreon teaser. Makes sense, obviously. And yeah, so these ad breaks right here, this is the first of which. One of the pay window things, I think it's $50 a month, so that's 3 episodes on this. You could get an ad like that instead of Craftsman's Flyers. It could be whatever you got. It could be a podcast. It could be a YouTube channel. It could be Hot Pockets. It could be anything, literally. We're at your...
Do you have Hot Pockets a lot?
No, never. It's just, it's one of
No?
those things that just, like, comes to mind. I mean...
Yeah. Like, did you used to have Hot Pockets a lot?
No, not really. No,
No?
it's like a...
You remember them? That's it.
I feel like we're kind of their brand, maybe.
What about Pop Tarts? Like,
Oh, yeah, I had a Pop-Tart yesterday.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So pimp out some Pop Tarts, man. Like, let me know what the good ones are.
It'd be cool to get...
I tried cookies and cream ones
No,
today.
no,
I bought
don't-
like a
don't
16
do
pack
that.
at Walmart. Yeah, I know. Big mistake. Big mistake.
You
I
stick
got like
to the
shitty-
standard flavors. If you can, no frosting. Cherry,
I like s'mores ones.
strawberry.
Those are good.
No. You
Yeah,
do,
s'mores are good.
you do
those
cherry,
ones.
strawberry, maybe blueberry, depending on what you like. I like the
Strawberry
maple.
ones taste like cardboard to me.
Maple and brown sugar is my favorite. That's my favorite flavor by a mile. The best one that I've ever had, but it's limited, so you can't find it. Pumpkin pie. That was delicious. It was truly really good. The peanut butter and jelly one is not good. S'mores one is not. I'm not a fan of that. All the weird ones. Rocky Road, not a fan. I've had peanut butter. Those were okay.
Okay.
It was okay.
That sounds like one that wouldn't work.
It wasn't bad. It was kind of okay. Definitely a Pop-Tart fan though. I like their holiday ones. You can go on Amazon. I think you can find them. That's how I got my pumpkin pie. It was an 8-pack for like $6 or whatever, and they had like gingerbread, they had eggnog, like they had all kinds of weird holiday themed ones. So yeah, we could advertise for you, and if you don't do it, like I said earlier in the show, we're at episode 93 on this. It's roughly one episode every 93 weeks, and it's taxing. So without getting payment in some form, it's gonna probably die soon. Following up on some things that happened lately, like I said, this should have been at the top of the show, but I'm trying a new format, so bear with me. Jurassic World 2, not the most exciting movie coming out.
Hey, one Antonio Bayona.
Yeah, I mean, that could be cool, you know. Return cast, hey, Chris Pratt, he's cool, whatever. Steven Spielberg's producing, that's all right. Universal, they might do some crossover shit, who knows. But here's actually something that is exciting, or at least I'm excited about, in the same way that the main reason I'm excited for Thor Ragnarok isn't necessarily the premise, but the cast, and that's that Jeff Goldblum is going to be returning to the Jurassic world, undoubtedly as a character that you've seen before, Dr. Ian Malcolm Home, whatever the fuck his name is. It doesn't matter. Jeff Goldblum is going to be Jeff Goldblum
Dr.
again.
Malcolm, yeah.
Jeff Goldblum is going to return as Jeff Goldblum. He's going to be talking about chaos theory. Hopefully he's not driving a bus in San Diego away from T-Rex this time. And he's just like a side character that's along for the ride. Maybe like, told you it was a bad idea 30 years ago. It's still a bad idea type of shit. This kind of soul. I don't know if I'm going to see this one in theaters now. But the likelihood of that is exponentially higher that they've gotten one of my favorite actors to return. I mean, you can hear hear us talk about him in the Fly remake. We did the Cronenberg episode from '86. Just unsung hero of fabulous acting in that movie. Totally remarkable. Happy.
Juan Antonio Bayona already doing some right, so
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, I'm not exactly sure that's his call, but Universal's already doing something right.
I'm just saying, man, I've seen 3 movies by the guy. I have faith that he can do no wrong at this
I
point.
think this is more of a Kathleen Kennedy decision. But yeah, someone's making the right choices. Someone called the right people. Pretty cool. I mean, like I said, he's in Thor Ragnarok this year. He was in Independence Day at Resurgence last year. Someone needs to get his agent a fucking raise, okay? Like, dude, after, like, sitting on his ass for a better part of the last decade, came back out of nowhere and is now landing huge tent poles. Like, kind of crazy to think about. Love it. Love him. Like I said, Logan, it's back now. We're talking about it. And for a reason that I wish didn't exist, blame George Miller for this one. It's getting a black and white re-release.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
In 2 weeks.
Nothing wrong with that.
There is something wrong with that.
For that movie, I could see that working, really.
I can see it working too, but why? Why re-release something that made a shit ton of money the same calendar year that it came out in the middle of summer when it's not a summer movie? I like the idea of a black and white release. What I am more a fan of is that it's also going to be in monochrome on home video. What's weird, though, is they've said when it's coming. Like I said, May 16th. We got a date. That's what the weirdest part about that is that that's a Tuesday.
So is it a one-night only thing?
I think it's like maybe a one-night only thing or like a two-night only thing. So it's a Tuesday. They have already said that it's going to be on home video. But what I'm wondering is, are they doing the Mad Max thing? Are they going to dick you and put out two different versions?
You know, Fox is pretty good about not doing that. I mean, for the Wolverine, they put the unrated version and the theatrical cut on the same thing. So, like, you know, and they included that with the 3D disc. So they, like, did the full package.
As a countermeasure for Days of Future Past, they put out the regular version, and then they put out the road cut, like, 7 months later.
Yeah, granted. But then the road cut was also wasted. That was like that's like a Suicide Squad extended cut, where it's literally an extended cut.
I've actually seen the Suicide Squad extended cut. And I'll be talking about that in dollar reviews.
Okay, and is it like a cut that warrants it, or is it just an extended cut? Because those things
it's
are
fan
like,
service.
Yeah, extended cuts, like, when you call it an extended cut, it's literally just
I felt like watching it
so that they can make
it's
money.
It's on HBO right now. Fucking
the extended cuts on there?
It's on HBO, and I'd already seen it in 2D and in 3D, and I was like, hey, why not watch it in the final format? Fuck it, why not? Go for it, it's free. Watch it. But yeah, no, I don't know. This seems like a really weird cash grab. It can't make that much money. I think maximum it could possibly make in one day is maybe $2.5 million.
James Mangold has talked about doing this, so it's like it's made enough money where they'll let him do it because he wants to.
Cool, I guess. It's just
he's given them 2 movies, man. They've made money, so
this is the weekend or a weekend and a half after Guardians comes out. It seems a little too late. They should have done this like 2 weeks ago instead.
It's just it sounds like a one night only thing, so they're probably just attracting just the diehards to show up at the screen for one night, and that's it.
What diehards though? Like in the same
people love that fucking movie.
Like
man.
for Mad Max,
people love that movie.
Mad Max got its black and white or black and chrome release like a full year. And speaking of, we're almost at 2 years since that movie came out. Hard to believe, but it got like
2 years since we started this podcast.
Yeah, so like 1 year after it came out, roughly, they did the black and white version. Like I said, they fucked up that home video release, and that's a whole different matter. Do you want the 3D version? Do you want the 4K version? Do you want the standard version, or do you want black and white? Because there's 4 different releases.
Warner Brothers does that.
Sort of, not really. Like they're not.
They
They're
tend to
usually not
repackage
that
their
bad.
stuff. No, they tend to do it quite often.
Look at Batman vs Superman. There's one copy that
They give a
has
heads up
the
on that.
ultimate and the regular, and then there's a 3D copy, and then there's the 4K. There's only, and that's because everyone besides Sony doesn't understand home video releases.
Oh, I'm just saying, like for their best picture stuff, or I mean,
Well, everyone
even
does
Gravity
that.
got like a second release and then a second cut that has no music in there. It's just sound, and that's it.
It's like everyone
I
does
don't know
the
if
home
that's
video
good, but-
re-release for the like classics collection or the award winners. Like I have American
they at
Beauty
least-
with like a really ugly overhead that says Best Picture winner 1999.
Okay, but like the ones that you're talking about are literally repackages, where it's the same disc and then
Yeah.
they change the box art or something. Like Warner Brothers, it's completely different editions that they've done. Like even when after The Dark Knight Rises came out on Blu-ray, then like a year down the line, they did a whole new trilogy box set with new exclusive
I
bonus
almost bought it.
features that were
I almost bought
yeah,
that fucking
and
thing.
that thing was like I think $80 when it first came out. Now it's probably like 20.
No, it's not. They did a bare bones
Yeah, no,
version
that thing
was like
became very
20.
cheap.
But no, that
Yeah, when that
one
first
that
came
you're
out,
actually
but now
talking
it got
about,
way cheaper. Like
the
it's
one
been
that you're
way
talking
cheaper
about
now.
that had like a quad fold box. That one is it dipped on Amazon down to like 35, and I almost bought it. And
Yeah.
then now it's out of print, so it is like 80 still. I'm just waiting for them to
Point is it went really cheap.
I'm
at
waiting
that
for
point.
them to put that shit out on 4K. Okay, when they do the 4K Dark Knight trilogy, yeah, I'll buy it. Even though I still, at time of recording, do not have a 4K TV, a Blu-ray player that can play 4K discs, or HDR capable display, I'll buy that version. I'll jump from DVD to something that actually makes a difference, because I've seen Batman Begins and The Dark Knight so many times on my DVD copies. I don't think I've watched The Dark Knight on Blu-ray. Besides the IMAX sequences having the different format ratio, the aspect ratio,
That's really the only reason why.
outside of that, like it looks basically the same. Like it's such a great digital copy that you're not really losing anything. So I'll wait for the 4K, because by the time that rolls around, it's gonna actually look like IMAX almost. So I'll see. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Logan release, but if you're a real big fan, if you fucking cried or boohooed or whatever, if you Kevin Smith during that one, yeah, go enjoy it again. This one's way cooler. Happy Madison, their fourth Netflix movie, it has a title, it has a release kinda, it has a cast, it has a synopsis, it has everything. I'm gonna tell you all about it. It's coming.
I think I'd already rather watch Logan in black and white.
I'd rather watch this. This actually sounds good. It's called The Week of. It's going to chronicle the week leading up to a wedding between Adam Sandler's daughter and Chris Rock's son. It's co-written and directed by the guy behind Triumph and Insult Comedy Dog. So, hey, that's a great pedigree. Sing. It's shooting this summer in Long Island, and it's set to bow in 2018 sometime. I would guess February, March, April. The reason I think this is cool is obviously we know Adam Sandler's like Netflix go-to guy. This is going to be his fourth movie, and then he has another 4, and then he's in the Meyerowitz Chronicles or whatever. He's like going to be in like 9 or 10 Netflix movies in the near future. Chris Rock already has a 2 comedy special gig. He made a fuck ton of money off of those. He's making like $80 million. Okay? So Adam Sandler's got 8+ movies. Chris Rock's got 2 stand-up specials. Putting them together, because, Chris Rock might have his little cameo in Sandy Wexler, but putting them together when they've already been a proven box office smash for the grown-up movies, they met each other on SNL, they have, like, that chemistry, they're funny together. Putting them in this kind of, like, I can't even think of a movie that does this. Obviously, like, these dads are going to butt heads, they're not friends, they kind of dislike each other and each other's kids, but they're going along with it. Finally, going through some shit,
It's
they
familiar
become
territory.
friends, and then the
There's a
wedding
movie
works, and
that's
they're best
done it.
friends.
I know
Yeah,
that,
movies have
but-
done it. Like, the only thing I can really think of is The In-Laws, and there's 2 versions of that. There's the remake with Albert Brooks and Michael Douglas, and then I can't remember who's in the original one. And it's like that's the version I can think of. And Ryan Reynolds is in that at like the beginning of his career. It is like right after Van Wilder. This actually sounds good. I do actually want to see this. Like after Sandy Wexler, which we're both very positive about. You listen to our
I'm not
review
very
on
positive, just
fairly
not
positive
hateful.
compared to all of the other Adam Sandler movies since Pixels.
Compared to the Do-Over, I
Yeah,
mean,
compared to the
yeah.
Do-Over, the Ridiculous Six, and Pixels, pretty
I
damn
think I like
positive.
Ridiculous Six a lot more, honestly.
No, I think you
At
liked.
least Harvey Keitel is what
Yeah,
does
no,
it.
I think you liked moments in the Ridiculous Six because it had good moments, but it was like 2.5 hours of a
I think
comedy
it's the
western.
moments that make the impression, really.
I,
And Sandy Wexler is longer, man. That's Adam Sandler's longest movie, I think, to date.
I think Sandy Wexler has great music numbers
I don't
and
know
fun
about great.
cameos.
I mean,
Those songs, I'm
the,
telling you, those songs like
like
we'll
they're very well sung, but
there's
I don't remember the
another
songs, honestly.
there's another like 8 months, not 8 months. There's another fucking 6 months, 7 months left on the year.
Sandy Wexler is fine, but it's
I
so
can
disposable that I
totally, I
honestly
swear
forgot
to
it.
God, I can see the Golden Globes nominating Sandy Wexler for Best Original Song.
I think that's fair.
Like, we'll see what happens the next 7 months. There
I
could
mean, they're
be
well sung, but then again, I don't know. Did Be Cool get any nominations? Because even that had pretty
that.
good songs.
Fuck that movie. I like that. No, these are
It's the
like
same thing.
no,
It's
like
kind of the same
these
thing.
are better songs. There's two, like the Hey Mr. GJ song. I can't sing it for you or anything, but like my parents were watching Sandy Wexler like 3 days after we did our episode,
hmm
and like I heard the song and I came out and watched in the living room with them for a minute. I was like, oh yeah, this song's good. I watched like maybe 15,
I
20
think
minutes. I was
about
like, this movie is not great.
I think
But
about the Tootsie Roll song, and that's only because it's in the trailer that I used to edit the intro. That's it. That's like my best memory of Sandy Wexler right now.
there's some funny moments in the movie. Like I dug it.
Let's do the Tootsie Roll,
Not a
cotton candy, sweet and low. Let me
yeah.
see
That's
that Tootsie
I'm talking about the
Roll.
original songs here, not fucking 69 Boys. Okay, original songs. Um,
That was played over and over again when I was editing.
that's bad. Um,
Well, it was there, man. That's what happens when I edit those, is I have to listen to them constantly.
so once again, this is out of order. It should be on the top of the show. There's a theme park in Abu Dhabi coming called Warner Brothers World. I think we talked about maybe a year ago when they decided that it was going to be a thing. So now they have news about it, and it sounds really awesome. And I'd like to go to Abu Dhabi for lots of different reasons because it's like the main booming metropolis on the planet with like
Mm-hmm.
crazy awesome tourist attractions. And so on their man-made island, that's where Warner Brothers World is going to be made, and it has themed sections that they already have concept art for, and they're going to be Warner Brothers Plaza, Gotham City, Metropolis, Bedrock, Cartoon Junction, and Dynamite Gulch.
So more or less just DC land for you, right?
No, it's everything. It's DC,
But mainly DC
Hanna-Barbera,
land for you.
Looney Tunes, and Warner Brothers. Like you're gonna be able to go
hmm
from one to the next, like Art Deco, like almost New York landscapes to the shady ones. I don't know. I like
But you want to go to DC land, right?
no. I want to see the whole thing. Like Warner Brothers Plaza sounds cool. Like I'd like to.
But mainly DC land, right?
No, I've been to fucking Six Flags, man. Like I've ridden the Batman Rise and Riddler's Revenge and Superman Escape. I've done that stuff. I've posed for pictures of the Batman. Like I've done it. Like I can't imagine being that much better. Like I'm sure it is that much better, but I can't really imagine that much better.
But mainly that's why you want to go, right?
No, I want to go for the whole experience. Like I really like going to Universal Studios for the studio tour and like walking from place to place. Except there isn't a seamless kind of segue from one property or themed attraction to the next like there is at Disneyland. Like Universal's kind of just thrown in there. It's like, why the fuck is Transformers here? I didn't even know that they had the rights to that. I was under the assumption that was a Paramount movie. Don't question it. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Oh, right across the street, there's some Jurassic World. Yeah, that's cool. Like, it's kind of out of left field. Like Universal Studios Hollywood doesn't quite make sense. You got Harry Potter, you got this, you got Waterworld. It's very thrown together. Whereas this sounds very calculated. It's gonna cost like $1 billion to make, which is crazy. I like, there's no Scooby Doo announced or anything, but this would be
Eventually.
maybe eventually. I don't know if that's a hit in that part of the world, but like it sounds pretty cool. I'm not sure exactly how big a part Time Warner or Warner Brothers is playing in the creation of this theme park. It might just be as easy as some
They're
Saudi.
going to profit in
Oh,
it, so
for sure they're
a
going to profit.
pretty sizable
Like
part.
in the same way that Six Flags they profit. They they lease out their license. That license is used at like nothing against them, and they profit. Time Warner doesn't own Six Flags; they just have some kind of licensing agreement. In the same way that Universal Studios Orlando has their Marvel like Escape Island or whatever, and that predates the Disney buyout. So that's why they are allowed to use the Marvel characters. But as of right now, Disney World is not. Like there's some kind of exclusivity deal with Orlando for that. Versus in LA, if you go to Disneyland, they already have Marvel attractions every once in a while. So I am curious, like just how much money.
Mainly for DC, right?
No, the whole thing, man. Like I watch, I watch HBO. I read and watch DC stuff. I thoroughly enjoy Hanna-Barbera cartoons, especially Scooby-Doo.
But not as much as DC, right?
I don't know. I fucking watched a lot more Scooby-Doo as a kid than Batman. I loved a pup named Scooby-Doo. Like, a lot. Like,
not as much as DC,
I think
right?
the reason that I like murder mysteries, or just mysteries, is more so influenced by Scooby-Doo than Batman. Even though Scooby-Doo and their gang, the Mystery Machine, whatever you want to call them, are detectives. They're not really detectives, but, like, that sense of hijinks.
They're high school detectives.
Yeah,
well,
they're past high school. And then pup named Scooby-Doo, they're in, like, grade school, which is really bizarre, but I love it. But yet, like, the sense across the medium is that they're truly detectives, whereas Batman, outside of comics, is like, oh yeah, he's just this billionaire with the costume that kicks ass and saves the day. It's like he's not really portrayed as a detective, despite DC originally standing for Detective Comics. So yeah, and the fact that there's there's Batman meets Scooby-Doo episodes. Like that's cool. I hope that's the thing that comes back. I would love to see that team up. When I'm playing Lego Dimensions, if I have Batman and Scooby-Doo on at the same time, Scooby-Doo comes out of nowhere. He's like, no, Batman! Say, hey, look, he's Batman! Really a sucker for that kind of thing. Really cool. Last little follow-up thing, and this is kind of related to something that doesn't really matter, so fuck it, we'll just move on. Film and streaming. I'll talk about it for a second. You remember, what was that, like 3 weeks ago? I was talking, no, it was like 2 months ago now. 3 weeks ago. I was talking about this thing called Late Shift. It's like this thing that's on Xbox and PlayStation, and it's like a return to form for the interactive movie. Ring any bells?
There's more than one thing like this, isn't there? Or is this the only one?
No. This is one that I was using as an example, and then I was like talking about like, oh yeah, this could totally influence virtual reality and where that goes in terms of storytelling and a new medium, and like just I was talking like, oh yeah, like in the early '90s on Sega CD and on computers they had full motion video, like choose your own adventure stories, and then today they have the Telltale games. So one of the big examples from that period of the origin of this genre of video game / storytelling was Night Trap, which was important mostly because it, alongside Mortal Kombat, led to the creation of the ESRB, which is the equivalency to the MPAA in America for video game ratings. It's the Entertainment Software Ratings Board. And Night Trap was super, just at the time, like the worst thing possible in video games. It's been 25 years. It's getting a re-release. It's going to be on PlayStation and Xbox. It's actually even going to get a physical release through Limited Run Games, which is kind of cool. Might be a cool collector's item. It has 3 different cover variants based on the 3 different times it got released on Sega CD, which is cool. And this all comes full circle because that Late Shift game / movie that I mentioned as an example a couple of weeks ago, it's out now. I bought it. It costs $10. I haven't started it. I'm thinking about watching that as a... or not watching, but like doing that as a Twitch stream, and so you could be watching at home and following along and deciding how I play the game. Should be cool. Like I said, that was supposed to be at the top of the show, not the bottom. This is fucking long, man. See, that's why I didn't want to do it yesterday. Yeah. It's so much to do, and I wish I was asleep right now.
You and me both.
There's a lot of film and streaming stuff. Most of the stuff doesn't matter, so I'm gonna skip over the lesser thans. This one is cool and it is important. Damien Chazelle, youngest person to ever win Best Directing Oscar. He's making the jump to TV, just like his brother-in-arms, Barry... Not Johnson. Is it Barry Johnson? Fuck's
Oh man, I'm gonna kill myself if I forgot Jenkins.
Barry
Barry
Jenkins?
Jenkins.
I knew it
Yeah.
was a J. I knew it was something.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was like, how could I forget
yeah. So
this?
Barry Jenkins is doing an Amazon show. Damien Chazelle is doing a TV show. Doesn't have a landing spot yet. It is very fucking Damien Chazelle. If you know he does music, hey, this is music talented. So it's gonna be about a guy and his band who run a Parisian music like club. It's gonna be a musical. It's called The Eddie. It's gonna be around sometime soon, probably. This past week, it fucking blew my mind. I wish I knew in advance. When talking about on 2 Cents last week and actually gone out and done it. LA decided that Eric Garcetti, the mayor of LA, decided that April 26th was La La Land Day. So then, like in 6 bars
What?
across the country, they did like a live performance like downtown LA for like some of the songs and shit. And so several bars across the country, and it was also that was the day that the home media release happened physically. Several bars across the country had bars that were like converted into Sebs from the movie, and one of them was the Blind Donkey, the Speakeasy in Long Beach. And in the research that I did, I actually discovered that that bar that I've been to a couple times was actually the shooting location of Sebs in the movie. So, against my knowledge, I'd actually been to that location before. They did a pretty good job of convincing you that it was
Sweet.
actually L.A. Cool bar. The only thing that sucks about that bar is that it's full of trash that are going there. So when the last time I was there, I left my friend's jacket that he let me borrow on a stool for a second when I took a piss, and I came back and it was stolen. Because that's the kind
Yeah,
of
that
shit
happened to me a couple months ago. I
fucking
got a
not
jacket
cool.
stolen.
I mean,
Pissed me
I've had
off.
my phone stolen in a similar way at a bar before too, so not totally uncommon territory. But the bar is pretty cool. Like they not too pricey. That karaoke and like live trivia and Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, which is cool. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I wish.
That's kind of weird that there's a La La Land Day.
Yeah, I mean it was a
like,
one-time
is it
thing.
really
It's never
that
gonna
big
happen
a
again.
phenomenon right now? Like, come on, that's not going to stick years from now.
No. Anytime they have like a something something day, that's literally for the day it happens and only that day. In the same way, there's like fucking International Hot Dog Day. It's like I never heard about this before. Hey, it was made up last week. It's like, oh, okay.
No, that's been going on for like years. I just don't know what day it is.
No, I'm
People
saying
say
like
it
there's
every year.
it's like Hot Dog Day,
I think they say it
fucking
more than
Donut
once,
Day,
honestly.
Sibling Day, like these days that you never
Yeah,
heard
no.
of once as a kid, and now it's like, oh yeah, you never heard about that?
There's a fucking day for everything.
You never heard about that? Like I'm not. If it's not on my calendar in front of me, it's not a
Yeah,
day.
what I find stupid is that people make holidays now for like movies too. Like there's an Alien Day. There's
That makes sense. May the
you know,
4th makes
cheesy
sense.
shit like, and it's kind of funny, but now I'm like, really no. I mean, when you say May the 4th be with you, my thought is, oh, no, I'm not gonna fucking. I don't plan on watching Star Wars. I'd rather
No.
be watching Guardians, but I can't.
I'm not.
You know.
Well, I mean, I am seeing Guardians, but
You are.
I'm not someone that does that. I'm not a fan. I'm very happy. I'm not working on May the 4th because I did last year, and like the people that would come in and saying shit. Oh man, no, not cool. Not cool. I'm
Yeah,
not a
see,
fan
that
of
would
that.
drive me nuts.
It's like forced
no.
fandom almost. Like
It really
this is
is.
my
No,
one
it
day
really
of the
is.
year where I can wear my Star Wars T-shirt. No one will laugh at me.
It's like, really? Come on, who cares?
A lot of people
Like,
care, man. Like there's a ton of people
get a
passionate about
fucking
something.
life. God
Like
damn
I
it,
think
like,
it is cool though. Like
the movie
most
is there and it's awesome. You don't
No,
need
not
a
the-
to
like,
like
fuck-
specify it.
fuck the movie. I don't care. I'm saying in terms of if something is enough of a phenomenon, because the La La Land Day is not going to stick. But in terms of May the 4th or like Alien Day, where it is such a big movie or such a big piece of pop culture, like there's a Batman Day. Batman Day is the day that the first issue of not first issue, but the issue of Detective Comics, the first appearance of Batman was printed. Like that's Batman Day. It's like that makes sense. It's the first time that this huge cultural figure entered the landscape. May the 4th
See,
is
I'm
just
not into
lucky.
that of like giving holidays for fictional stuff like that.
Christmas
It's
is
just-
pretty fucking big, man. So is Easter.
I'm talking about like fiction that's created for the sake of art, not for religious stuff. It's a completely different category.
Pretty similar.
Not really.
There are
I
more
mean,
people
one's-
out there that worship Jedi and the Force or Batman or Superman than there are Jesus probably nowadays. Like actually worship it. Like in
That's
terms
crazy
of
to me.
decorate their homes with memorabilia, wear it, get tattoos of said symbols. Like the bat symbol or the Superman symbol or a lightsaber are way more prolific nowadays, especially in our culture, than crucifixes. Where like it actually means
that's
something.
Still insane to me.
Yeah, it's totally insane, but if you see a Batman symbol, you immediately know what it is. Versus like a cross, it's like it's kind of lost its meaning. And it's also
They both have the same iconography, I think. No,
Yeah.
people recognize it.
Yeah, it's a totally fucked up icon too. If you really think about it, that's use this thing that our savior literally died on as a sign of who he is. It's pretty fucked. Like,
Never forget.
I guess shit. Like, what would you do if he didn't come back from the dead? You know, like I don't know. No one knows. So yeah, a lot of directors are up to things. Like I said, Damien Chazelle's doing his TV show. Joe Johnston is trying to reboot the Chronicles of Narnia series. David Fincher is going to try to make the sequel to World War Z. We've already known that for a while, but this is like this week it's going to get greenlit for reals. Like apparently the only reason it hadn't was because Brad Pitt was doing his divorce shit and he was too busy. Hell or High Water's creative team, David Mackenzie, Chris Pine, and Ben Foster, they're going to be returning for a Netflix movie called Outlaw King. That's pretty big. This is like the Braveheart story, but told from the other side of the coin. So it's going to be Robert the Bruce, but not vilify him. Kind of cool, especially since David Mackenzie is a Scot, so he might be able to bring you something that Mel Gibson couldn't, because he is not a Scot, even though if he did win Best Picture for that movie somehow.
Oh, it was an awesome movie, too.
I'm going to say
that'd be interesting.
It's like an Australian who doesn't even have an Australian accent anymore made a movie about this Scottish dude, and he's not even Scottish, and everyone in the world that's seen that movie thinks that's the real story, and David Mackenzie's like, well, actually, no, that's not what happened, and I'm going to make the movie, and it's going to be on Netflix. Yeah, it's called Outlaw King. Well, I'll save the best one for last. Will Smith may star in this movie called Gemini Man that I'd never heard of before, but it's apparently been part of Hollywood since like 97. It was created at Disney originally, and it's been floating around town since then for the last 20 years, basically because technology wasn't good enough. It has a really cool premise. Like I said, it's called Gemini Man. It's landed with Ang Lee and Skydance, with Jerry Bruckheimer executive producing, or maybe just straight up producing now. But yeah, it used to be at Disney. Here's the concept. It's pretty good, and talking to Logan...
Like Disney as in Walt Disney Pictures,
yes.
Or more like Touchstone?
Disney. Or maybe Touchstone.
Like this is a kids
or maybe
movie?
Hollywood Pictures. Not a kids movie. But just Disney Studios, okay?
Yeah, so not Disney.
So here's the premise. Sounds really cool, like I said. Very similar to Logan in a certain way. It's about an aging assassin who is no longer fit to play with the big dogs, going head-to-head against his clone, which is 25 years younger than him. So you would have Will Smith playing himself with maybe some little aging makeup, and then you have the CG modified version a la Star Wars Rogue One or Tron Legacy, or, hey, Logan. The tech is definitely there. You can definitely do it as CG. You can anti-age people. Will Smith already looks pretty fucking young anyway. I don't want to see him looking like the Fresh Prince. But they can do it. And
this movie would allow it.
This movie will allow it. It's going to be cool. I don't know if it's actually happening. It's exciting that Ang Lee's doing it. Like I said, it's Skydance. Since and Jerry Bruckheimer, I don't know where this would land. Like, who would distribute it? Maybe it's Sony. They got a relationship with Will Smith. They got it with Ang Lee. I don't know. I doubt that he's going to go the 3D 4K FPS thing again this time.
No.
But I am curious. Like, this sounds...
I mean, if he experiments with something, I think that'd be cool. Probably 3D.
Yeah, I'd be a fan for 3D.
Could do 3D,
But
yeah.
this movie sounds pretty interesting. Like, the only problem is usually when something has been in turnaround or development hell for this long, there's a reason for it, and it's not a technical reason. Because they wanted to make this back in 97, like I said, and originally they were going to have, like, Sylvester Stallone as the old dude, and then, like, who were they going to get? They were going to get the original Robin, not the original Robin, but the 90s Robin. They were going to get Chris O'Donnell to play, like, his younger version. Like, they were just going to do a younger actor and an older actor, which would totally work. Look at Looper, you know? That's not the only example. It's just the only one I can think of right now. But they could even just done it with makeup, to be honest. Look at Back to the Future. That's the 80s. You could totally do it with makeup. But hey, it might be good. It's Ang Lee. He's never, at least what I've seen of his, there's never been anything that's like a shit sandwich. So
Hulk?
no, that's not a shit sandwich. It's not good. It's just not good. It's interesting. You haven't seen it, man. You don't know. Like,
I haven't.
it's one of those.
Everyone says it's a shit sandwich.
It's one of those. It's so bad. It's good movies. Just the iconography of seeing, or how iconic it is to see Hulk jump from state to state and pick up a fucking tank and swing it like a baseball bat. You're not gonna see that in the MCU movies. Like, he literally jumps like Superman and goes from Nevada to New Mexico or something crazy, like in a single jump. I saw it in theaters, man.
I wanted to, but parents wouldn't let me.
Just I can't say because it's a spoiler, but just who is cast as the villain in that movie?
Nick Nolte?
Yeah, he's the dad, but he's also the villain. It's like, Nick Nolte got to be in a Marvel movie before Marvel movies were a thing. Like, that's cool. And now look at him. Now what's he doing? Nothing. He's doing nothing. Staying with comic books for a second, this is something that you and I know because we talked about it, and then I also talked about it on Letterboxd, and you can probably guess where this is going. Glass is a thing. You already know the date. I already know the date, but maybe your audience doesn't. It's going to be January 19th, 2019, so it's another year and a half away. Pretty exciting. It's the third film in the Unbreakable Split trilogy, which I hope is not a trilogy, and it just continues because, hey, I really like this universe. I'll talk about it in dollar reviews. I rewatched Unbreakable this week. I saw Split. I was so enamored that I watched Unbreakable the same day. Didn't hold up. No, it held up just as well. It's just I'm older, and there's more superhero movies now, which I think it is. And it's long. And it's a Touchstone movie. It's really dark. And there's no music in it. And it's Bruce Willis not really being Bruce Willis. It's bizarre.
I've not seen it in forever.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it since like 2000, 2001, so I've aged, and the movie kind of has... I don't know. Like I said, I'll talk about that in dollar reviews. But yeah, what's curious about that is it's produced by Blumhouse. It's distributed by Universal.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, Disney put out Unbreakable. Like, there's really interesting behind-the-scenes stuff in terms of...
Well, there's no IP really set up in
there
that, is there?
Kind of is, though. When you release a movie, at the end of the movie, it doesn't say licensed to Disney. It says whatever production. Every time there's a major movie, they have to create a new LLC to put out that movie. And so, apparently the way that Bruce Willis was able to do the cameo at the end of Split was just like a gentleman's agreement between M. Night and... not Eisner, but whoever runs Touchstone. And he's like, yeah, you can do it, no problem. Just don't credit him or something like that. So I think what's happening now is that Disney is going to be a co-financer, and they're going to get some kickback, like maybe like 10%, which makes sense because they got nothing to lose. You know, they're just going to gain on this thing. And given both the box office success of Unbreakable and Split, and then even if you want to continue that to like The Visit, like M. Night, Blumhouse are on a great track record. Universal for the most part is too.
He's at a good home right now. He doesn't need to do like big budget shit like After Earth or Last Band.
I hope this is like not like a big budget, but compared to Split, like Split makes sense. That's a $9 million movie. It shows it totally plausible. Given the world they set up in that and the one they set up in Unbreakable, and the fact that you don't really see anything about those movies, and this is the final act in that story, I want a budget. I want at least $50 million. I want to see Chronicle level action.
Blumhouse is not going to do that. Like maybe 20 million max, I think, if he's doing it with Blumhouse.
I don't know.
If Disney's helping and Universal's financing,
Disney's helping and Universal's helping. Like, after how much money Split made and Universal just greenlit this movie, you don't think they're going to pump some money into this, considering that they don't have an actual superhero
have
movie?
The name attached to it. I mean, Blumhouse is about doing micro-budget films for no money
just
and letting directors have free reign and be creative.
It could just be a Jason Blum production.
Probably, yeah.
Because I'm just saying,
I
don't want to see
a
big blockbuster, but I do want to see a much larger budget. I mean, just to be honest, Will Smith, Samuel L. Jackson, James McAvoy, and Ann Taylor-Joy are going to command more than $9 million together. That alone is $20 million. Easy.
I think you meant Bruce Willis, not Will Smith.
Yeah, Bruce Willis. Especially Will Smith. But you know that's $25-30 million. Like there's just them. You know, like Samuel L. Jackson, I'm sure is in the $10 million range nowadays. So
he costs a lot, man.
The movie has to be pricey. I can't see all of them, like Ann Taylor-Joy maybe not because she's, small potatoes, but I can't imagine this being
I mean,
another
it'll
small
definitely like
budget.
Split. I think costs around like 10 mil.
Yeah, it was like 9. Yeah.
Yeah, so which is right in the micro budget realm, but I mean, yeah, this will no doubt cost more.
Like
But I mean,
Unbreakable was 75.
Unbreakable though, what's insane is like, yeah, that was 75.
I don't know
I don't
why.
remember that movie being big.
No,
Maybe
there's
paychecks, and
it
that's it.
had to be paychecks and marketing. Like it was probably M Night money because he just came off of Sixth Sense,
And
and
yes,
Disney
but
had money to spend because like I said, I just watched it, and this is a conversation that we'll have on Dollar Views. Like, but
mhm.
yeah, no, there's
I
not
mean, yeah, I remember that being a pretty small
like
movie.
it's Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, and they're big stars even then, and so it's probably them plus the talent involved, producing team, marketing. But that movie, like if you throw away the actors, shouldn't have cost more than 20, 15. It's just movies were different back then. They had the mid tier release. Today it's either go big or go home or film it at home. Like there is no in between. But I think that this last one could be an in between. Like I said, I hope it does have like a $50 million budget, that they are able to like not swing for the fences with CG, but yeah, like Chronicle level. Like I want to see actual fighting. Like we have a
But
supervillain.
M. Night likes to, drag things and just have a deliberately slow pace. So I think he'll do it in the way that he's comfortable with doing it and do whatever he feels he needs to do it with.
We have a superhero. We have a
20 mil, I think,
supervillain,
is probably
and
ideal for that.
we have a superhero. We have a supervillain, and now we have an
Yeah,
arch
do you remember what the
nemesis.
fight scenes were like in Unbreakable?
Yeah, the fight scene doesn't. There really isn't a fight scene. Of course, I remember. I just saw it. There's one moment.
Like, there's one in a room, I
Yeah,
think.
that's it.
It's really not that great. Hell, though, even Split, I mean, that movie cost $9 million. There's some pretty menacing scenes in there. Like, he gets a lot out of that budget.
It's camera work though. It's mostly angles and darkness and playing with
Yeah,
lighting.
it's a lot. I'm just saying, he can be very creative with the low
Oh yeah,
budget,
for sure.
so,
But
yeah, don't dump money on this thing and fuck it
Unbreakable
up.
is about the beginning of this hero's career. Split is about the beginning of this villain's career. In that 17-year span that this trilogy has began, it is assumed that Bruce Willis's character is
He's gonna team up
actually
with
saving.
Glass and help him find.
I don't.
What's his face?
I don't want to speculate, but I'm just saying it's assumed that he's actually a hero at this point. Maybe actually saving the day. Maybe he's got powers for sure. Maybe there's someone else in the movie that has powers. Okay, you definitely.
Maybe this is the first time they found someone like that.
Yeah.
Since then.
Okay. The Horde definitely fucking has powers. So you need. I don't know. I'm not telling M. Night what to do, but I do want to see some kind of level of spectacle, not in the After Earth Avatar type of way, but like somewhere that is much more nuanced than that, and yet is able to offer a different slice of the superhero movie in a way that is going to be refreshing.
I mean, I think that's what he'll go for. I don't think he needs like $500 million to do that.
50.
But, we don't even know what he's thinking of, so
50.
we'll see,
Just
man.
just the talent, man. Like you can go online and find actor salaries. I guarantee.
Oh yeah, no. They can. That is a high-profile cast.
like-
They command a lot.
James McAvoy was able to do it at spec probably because he wanted to do a smaller movie. But when you have Bruce Willis, Nick Fury / Mace Windu, and Professor Xavier together, like they're probably going to want a lot of money. Maybe not McAvoy. Like he doesn't really have much going for him besides X-Men. So maybe not him, but the fucking other guys. I don't know. The last piece of directing news is the one that I actually care about because the rest are whatever besides Glass. Paul Verhoeven's got a new movie. It's got a title. It's called The Blessed Virgin. Pretty exciting. It's going to be about a real 17th century nun who is charged with homosexuality and fabricating miracles. So it definitely sounds sacrilegious, right in line with this director's work. It's going to be another French production. It's going to have the same producer from Elle. And it's based on a 1986 book called Immodest Acts, The Life of a Lesbian Nun in Renaissance Italy. Sounds awesome. Can't wait to see it. Definitely seeing this one in theaters. And I'm very sure by the time it is released that I will watch the rest of his foreign filmography. Without a doubt. It's going to happen.
For sure.
Maybe not in Desert Cinema, but It's gonna happen. Maybe I'll bring some lotion to this theater. Hmm? No, I still haven't seen Black Book. I don't really like. I'm going to, but out of all the ones that I'm aware of, I'm not that interested in that one because it's a war
You
movie.
should check out The Fourth Man, man.
No, I'm
It's
saying
really, really
yeah, I'm
good.
much more interested in that or Spec School or fucking Flesh and Blood. But like Black Book, like I don't. Do I really want to see a Verhoeven like serious war drama? Not really. Like I will, but on my list of must-watch things, it's not on there. It's like yeah, I will watch it. Here's the VR stuff just so I can toot my own horn. And as a segue from directors to a director that just did VR for the first time, Rutu was doing some shit at Tribeca. I think it was because he just showed off his first VR experience that he spent like, well, it's not experience, but movie, if you want to call it, short film, whatever the fuck, experiment, okay? That he spent like 3 years making. It's called, what is it? I forget.
No idea.
Alma Incarne or something like that. Anyway, so there's a quote which is really awesome. He was doing like a Q&A basically, and he said this thing. He's like, "We're making baby steps. Nobody knows anything. I don't know anything. The big mistake with VR is to interpret it as an extension of cinema, but it's not cinema. VR is everything cinema is not. That playfulness is a fantastic way to not be afraid to fail." Which I think is like a really beautiful way. I wish, like when I read that quote, I totally read it in his voice the first time I saw it, because he has like a certain voice. Like it would be awesome if you did like an audiobook or if he had a podcast. Like that'd be cool. He just has one of those voices like Guillermo del Toro. It's like, wow, I know you're Mexican, but it's almost like your English is poetic in the way it's broken. It's very nice. But yeah, like this is the first time that a major director's really said anything in a way about VR outside of, oh yeah, I'm making something, kind of like Ridley Scott, who his Alien Covenant VR experience in Utero, his first experience anyway, was actually released this week. So if you have Oculus, because that's the only place it is, because fuck Facebook, you can watch it. And as the title suggests, it is from the point of view of a baby xenomorph and the birthing process that those alien species go through. Sounds awesome. I wish I could experience it, but I can't because I have the wrong VR headset. But yeah, like Ridley Scott, I don't know if he made this, but he definitely had some kind of hand in playing with it. He hasn't said anything. Steven Spielberg's working on stuff for Ready Player One. He hasn't said anything. Like, besides Michael Stromberg, the president of the virtual reality company, most of Hollywood's pretty tight-lipped. They've either done stuff but not really done interviews, or if they've done interviews, it doesn't really go to the surface. Kind of like Sam Esmail, who did the VR thing for Mr. Robot. That was kind of like, hey, I made this thing, you should watch it. But just given the nature of the kind of filmmaker that Iñárritu is, and this is as far as he's been saying also during this interview, you can check it out. I forget where it is. I think it was on, I don't know, it was a live event, but IndieWire had a good write-up of like everything that was said, all the quotes. And he essentially said, after what he did with Birdman and also this VR thing and The Revenant, that he's kind of done doing his realism cinema like shtick, and he wants to make more fanciful, like fantastical kind of films. And this might be the segue. I still really hope that this is a free video that you can watch everywhere. Maybe it's on Milk VR within or on YouTube, and it's not behind a paywall. It's not an exclusive thing. There isn't like some kind of fucking stupid bootleg way that you have to watch it, because as far as I've read, it's like 4 minutes long. It's not a movie. It's this guy made something in VR at the beginning. It's an
experience, yeah.
Yeah, it's an experience. Like it's a short film, and the idea of putting that behind a paywall is so stupid that I really hope it doesn't exist. And I also really hope that, well, as of now, VR is such a big thing, even if it's small, that everything lands somewhere eventually. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, it was made like some kind of indie film, then you never hear about it again because no one paid the money to put it on streaming. This is going to land eventually, and I know I'll watch it probably by the time the year's up. So I'll report on whatever that is. Not on this show, probably. $1 reviews. So that's cool. And then the other VR things that happened this week are related to things that are important but not important to you, because as a consumer, you probably don't give a shit. The one that is cool is Shaun the Sheep has a VR app. It's on Google Cardboard. You can find it on Google Play. It's out there now. It's called, just search Shaun the Sheep and you'll find it. I need to do this. I'll download it when the episode's over. I'm
What is it?
it's Shaun the Sheep in VR. it's
No, yeah, like what is it about it
I
that
no,
is worth it?
it's I don't know. Who the fuck cares? I want to see
You don't know
I
what?
want to see that world in virtual reality. That sounds awesome.
All right.
I don't think it's claymation though, which is really bizarre. I think it's CG, which kind of makes sense in a VR landscape because when you think about stop motion, you only film that from one angle, you know?
Well, it's like unless the CG is rendered in a way where it kind of apes it, or stylistically at
Well,
least as far as movements.
you couldn't stitch
Something
it.
to make it feel close to
You
that.
couldn't stitch one of their sets in a way that was convincing as a 360 environment because you need space to actually get in there and play with the models. And then on top of that, you couldn't shoot it with a 360 camera because once again, you know, it's only 100. It's like a play, you know. You only got so much of a set. So yeah, I think this is CG. I don't care. I'm gonna still download it. I just put the theme song in there
Report back on that.
and let me see the Sean and his friends doing barnyard hijinks, and I'm sold. You know, I'm a fan.
I need to watch that
Yeah,
again.
it's a fun movie. Dollar reviews. I think it's like season.
I think it's our shortest
Oh, yeah,
episode
by a long
ever.
shot. Yeah, it's super short.
Yeah.
It's like
I feel like we didn't even say enough on
it's
that.
like season 2, episode 13 or something like that. Shaun the Sheep. Have a bleep. I still have that T-shirt, which I don't know where it is, but it's an AMC branded Shaun the Sheep shirt, and it is by far the best thing I got from my
I remember
stint.
seeing people wearing those.
It's a cool shirt. Like I was very happy to buy it or to get it for free, you know, because I only got that. No, I only got that. I had like the shirt that was my uniform, and then I had that shirt, and that was all I was allowed to wear. So I would have to wear an undershirt, or I was gonna smell like the garbage that I carried out every day. Wasn't that fun? But yeah, the rest of the news is mostly non-consumer things. It's like Adobe, they think they found a way to add 6 degrees of freedom VR playback to recordings done on consumer-grade 360 cameras, which is a long way to say you take your 360 cheapo camera that shoots in 2D, even if it is 360 degrees, and they found a way to possibly not just make that maybe 3D, which I doubt, but even further than that, like I said, 6 degrees of freedom, which means instead of just standing stationary, moving your head left and right and up and down and seeing the world around you, you would actually be able to walk around in the way that Facebook's new camera rig allows you to. I don't buy this. I don't know how this would technically be possible within a two-dimensional sphere. I think in the article that I read, this is only going to work for recordings that aren't static. So if someone was holding one of these cameras and, for instance, they were on the Universal Studio Tour, then you would have like a way to create depth based on like the length of the footage, and you could articulate through like computing how long of a footprint that was, and you'd be able to somehow recreate that, and then you could walk it. But like I said, this is a tech company going, hey, we found a way to do something. There's no way that you can prove that we can do it, and there's no way for you to disprove that we can do it. But hey, we can be on some guy's podcast talking about it because it's a VR news item, and that's exciting. So I don't really believe it. Something that I do believe, and this is kind of cool, a camera just like that does exist, and it's going to be from a Chinese company called Yi. The camera itself is called the Halo. This is similar to the Facebook one that I just mentioned. The big difference is that Facebook camera from last week is $25,000. Makes sense because, you know, it has like 24 sensors, it's 8K, it's 3D, you can walk around it, it's Facebook, so why won't it cost a lot of money? This camera is only $18,000, which is pretty cheap in comparison. It also uses Google's Jump initiative, which is a nice way to say you don't have to have a really fancy computer and editing suite. You take your video, you upload it to the cloud, they stitch it in the cloud, and then you download it, and there you go, it's done. They did all the VR magic tricks for you. But like I said, 17 sensors, 8K, 3D, so it's pretty close to the Facebook one, and it's about $8,000 less. So you could easily buy one of these and then, you know, pay a camera crew to actually film something instead of buying the Facebook one. I'm not telling you to do that, but hey, Facebook should die. The final thing in the show is just like the wow, science is cool thing. And it's, of course, another HTC Vive thing because that's the only VR that's exciting. So following like their aftermarket kit that allowed for a wireless VR headset, which you can already buy, China is also going to get eye tracking lenses. Those are on the way soon. Basically, what this is going to allow is you to do foveated rendering, which is a fancy way of saying it only renders at the highest capacity or highest resolution what you're actually looking at. It tracks your eyes, what you're looking at, the draw distance and everything, all that shit. And it does, like I said, full resolution wherever you're looking, and then the rest isn't necessarily blurry, but it is down res. That way your computer isn't having a hard time. You have less concerns. You can use a weaker memory, not memory. You can use a cheaper video card, all kinds of things. Once again, this is not going to be part of the HTC Vive. This is something that you add on to it, like the Vive trackers. This is something that you can get a la carte. Then this way, you get the top of the line experience without having to break the bank unless you really, really want it. These are the kind of things that we can expect in VR headset 2.0, whenever the Vive 2 or the Oculus Rift 2 or the PSVR 2 or whatever other second coming happens. And these are the kind of things that HTC is doing really well, because it's paving the way to what's possible with the technology today instead of having to wait, 3 or so years. So very, very exciting. That was the show. Yeah, if you're a sheeple or a sheep person, or what is the singular form of sheeple? That's interesting.
Sheppy? Sheepeye? I don't
Sheppy,
know.
maybe?
No idea.
It was actually going to be a news item, but I left it out when I was a news item. Webster's added sheeple to their online dictionary this week. And the example of its usage, it relates to Apple users. It's like a CNN quote from a couple years ago talking about, like, yeah, and all the Apple sheeple will probably buy this iPhone just because it's shiny and blue. Or something like that. It's like, wow, I can't believe Webster's did that. That's cocky. They obviously don't care. But I don't care either. That's the show. It's 2 hours. It's a little too long, and there's probably only going to be 6 more of these. Thanks for listening, though. If you want to find us on the internet, you can go to dollarviews.net. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WordPress, Tumblr, all those things. We're there. If you want to leave a comment, write a review, thumbs up, thumbs down, we don't care. Any kind of feedback would be nice. Follow, subscribe, any kinds of the platforms, all of them. It'd really mean a lot. We currently have 13 YouTube subscribers, which isn't too shabby, but hey, it could be a lot more because I'm one of those, so it's actually 12. Have a good week. Hope to hear from you, and I hope you hear from us. Have a good one.
Good night.